Hello,
Yes.
everybody. Sun and Moon here today on Monday, the 27th of November
July.
2017. Pardon? What were we saying?
26.
Oh, anyway, so far on the panel today, we have Yudit from Israel. Hello, Yudit. And then we have, is she coming? Yudit.
Adi, shalom.
Yay. And then we have Richard Ashcroft from, and he's the beer guy, and he's UK.
Hello.
Croft.
And then we have Astral, who is from the UK but lives in Denmark.
Hello.
And of course, I'm from the UK. We've had a few really big discussions lately on Sun and Moon, a lot of research and stuff. So today I just thought we talk about anything today. And Astral just came on with something, didn't you, Astral?
Yeah.
This is to do with Freddie Flintoff.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
That's in a Danish newspaper.
Yeah.
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 Well, this is about Freddie Flintoff. Oh, look at my dirty nails. Oof. And here at the bottom, it's talking about Mad Mike and his mission. It's actually the day's comment, this about Mad Mike. And the day's comment, it says, wouldn't it have been cheaper to buy a plane ticket? And it's, yeah, obviously we all know, don't we? And those that don't, Mad Mike Hughes is about to, well, in here, and I think it's quite wrong, this, he's saying that he wants to shoot himself in his rocket a 0.5 kilometre up into the air in a homemade steam-driven rocket to prove that the Earth is flat. As far as I know, it's not just a 0.5 kilometre, but I mean, yeah. And then the rest of it was about Andrew Flintoff saying that he thinks that the Earth is flat. And it says here, I'll just translate it. Most of us agree that the Earth is round, but now former cricket star Andrew Flintoff tells us that he is convinced the opposite. And then they've interviewed a few people. The first person, someone called Danny, says that there is a reason that he's a former sports star. Gosh. Next person. If you haven't checked out the shape of the Earth, then don't comment on it. The next person said, yeah, and the moon is made of green cheese. If you take on a foil hat and eat canned food in your mum's cellar without too much contact to the social media, the whole world has nothing to worry about.
Astral, guess what? I put it unlisted when I was making it and I turned it public, but then the chat room said they couldn't see it. Now, I did change it over, but could you just explain what's in that paper again? They just missed the first few minutes.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you again.
This is in Denmark.
Express, you know, Metro Express. And
he's in Denmark, Astral is.
Yeah. And it's just basically saying that he's obviously been interviewed and he thinks that the world is flat. And then they've interviewed, obviously, a few people to see what they think. And they're giving comments, and that's what I was just translating now. So the next person says, that's why there are so many people living on the edge. Another person has asked, how do you explain the sun sets and the sun rises? It wouldn't happen with a flat Earth. There's only one person, actually, someone called Caltrina. Caltrina, that's a strange name, but she believes it. And then the last person says, now I understand why doping is forbidden. And that was that. So it's, yeah, it's making a mark over here, slowly, which is good.
So the news about Freddie makes Denmark as well. So what do the Danish people make about it?
Those I come in contact with, they're, yeah, I'm an idiot.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. What planet are you from?
We're not on a planet. Oh, we are on a planet. We're not on a ball.
Yeah. No, but that's what they'll say.
Do you say anything then?
I piss people off every minute.
Oh.
Yeah. When I meet people, I obviously talk to them, and when you talk to them, then yeah, what are your hobbies? Funnily enough,
Flat Earth is a hobby as well as a life.
No, but like Uber was saying, you have to be gentle. You've got to slowly, bring the subject up. Otherwise, they're like, what? Gone. It has to be introduced gradually. Maybe hey, that's 9/11. Oof, I don't know about that, man. I'm still not convinced. That kind of thing, like we all know. To see what kind of reaction that gets.
Yeah, it's I don't bother to tell anybody out there anymore. I can't be bothered. I've tried a few times and it doesn't go down very well. So yeah, I don't bother really. Just I'm happy with those that do. I know aren't fighting about it.
Yeah. I mean, we are.
My own children do that, like one of them is very open to it. One of them doesn't want to talk about it anymore, and one's in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's been really hard with my own children. Ellie here, who's here, she's not really, doesn't care. So there you go. I don't care. I know, a maybe, and one that's more open to it all.
Yeah, I get that kind of same actually, more or less. Yeah.
What, your family?
I told my son the other day, but I said to him, like, I don't want you to look into it. I don't want you asking anyone about it. I said to him, don't tell anyone about this. I mean, but it's a crazy thing, isn't it, that we have to think like that, that we have to be, that we're the guilty ones.
It's flat.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. It's hard, really.
It makes us like the rebels, doesn't it? To them, we're the rebels.
Totally, yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
I'll ask Richard. Richard, what's it like in your household? Where you live, are you the only flat earther?
In my house, I am. Telling people in the local area. Some of them are like half and half. Some are starting to change their mind. Yeah, it's a bit challenging around my area. They're all a little bit mental anyway. But
so
yeah, they like
this bit
it.
about Freddie Flintoff coming out, has that helped at all or not?
I think it's like, I don't know, it's making them think a bit more anyway, now that it's going in all the main papers and everything, and people are just picking up newspapers and seeing stuff about flat Earth. I think it's making it so that they actually go and have a look at some of the information that's out.
He's quite a big person, isn't he? I mean, without being mean to myself, because obviously I'm older than him, but he's quite a young person still. you know, and he's come out with his flat. It's, yeah, he's more trendy, isn't he? Because he's been so big in cricket, and now he's come out. That is a good thing, isn't it? No one's having a go because he's come out with it.
Totally,
People aren't, are they? Aren't people happy he's come out with it?
I think the more people that come out with it, better, you know, and especially the more people that are in, like, you know, the public's eye or more prominent in that sense. Not that they're any better, or, I mean, everyone counts, obviously, but those people, sometimes they count for 2, sometimes they count for 200, you know, who knows?
Mm.
And then there's also the opposite side, as there is to everything, and that person could actually make more people against the idea, if you understand that thought.
Well, the more people that come out, the better. But on that score, there's got to be something like what Aaron's like mentioned, hasn't there? Really, got to be other things in place, because that's the next question. One of my sons said, "Well, if you woke up tomorrow and it's flat, then what happens?"
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Who knows?
I don't think we can sort it all out in one go, though. I just don't. I think it's, you know, maybe the movement itself has to grow a bit more. But Aaron's got this positive program set up, so
yeah,
that's the main thing. Because I mean, like Richard, I call him Little Richard, but he, because he's so young, that's why.
How old are you?
Look at him! Look at him lying there.
He ain't that young.
26.
Right.
He's younger than my sons.
What's it like having a famous namesake? What's it like having a famous namesake?
Famous what?
A famous namesake. Aren't you called Richard Ashcroft?
No, I'm Ashmore.
He's an Ashmore.
Yeah.
That's you, Karen. You gave me the wrong name earlier.
Oh, did I? Oh, sorry. Richard Ashcroft, did I?
Yeah,
sorry.
the verb. But hats off to you anyway.
Yeah, Little Richard, he's been like, really, his topic on Flat Earth has been looking up the birth certificates and the money side, isn't it? The Bitcoin, and you got really into that, haven't you?
Yeah, for like pretty much as soon as I knew about Flat Earth, I knew about all the Freeman movement and all the hidden accounts and all this stuff that they try and keep away from us, that they don't teach us in school, and like yeah, the accounts that get sold with your birth certificate and your national insurance number and all this information about courts and their processes and ways you can be exempt from courts and certain types of courts. Yeah, I found a link lately. They've set up a service. I don't know if it's like around the world, but I know it's in the UK. You can sign up and actually like truly register, because when you register your child when you give birth at hospital, you give you a birth certificate, but it's not really for a live person. It's for a dead entity that then they use to trade money on the stock market. But this website, it's so you can register and claim common law jurisdiction, so that you can't get done for like speeding tickets or parking fines and all the stuff that we end up having to pay for. You can opt yourself out of it.
Yeah. Have you tried it?
I haven't. No. I know a few people who have, and they're pretty happy.
Yeah, I've looked into it. I've looked into it many times, you know, and delved fairly deep as well. But I still didn't seem to get anywhere, like, you know, like to the root of it. I mean, gave up.
I'll share a link in the YouTube chat, and then
allegedly, Dave, he did a thing on it and all a few years back.
Yeah, when he got his car took off him.
Yeah, and the straw man thing and all that, like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, I've seen a bit about that. But that question, if we all wake up tomorrow and you know, everyone has decided, yeah, it is flat. How things would be, you know, that's a massive question.
Was it you, Richard, that was talking about the fact that I can't remember who it was. It might have been Wilson. I can't remember now. It might have actually been Matt. But when a judge, if you ask them to say a certain piece of law, they can't actually try you because certain judges are not maritime, and they have to be maritime because the law we're under with the birth certificates and everything is maritime. And is that explain that?
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's jurisdiction, don't you? Isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, they kind of try for like acts of legislation in Parliament if the person has consented to being governed by these acts. If you're not consenting to being governed by them, you can't be held accountable and made to pay fines. And but yeah,
if you ask them to read this part of their constitution out, it means that you can turn around and say, well, sorry, you can't try me because you're not maritime law.
Yeah.
Would you do that though? Would you leave it that long till they're actually sort of, you know, when you get there, they've got to ask, actually at the trial, you've got to ask the judge to repeat what their constitution is. And once they say, you go, well, you can't try me.
Yeah. Well, I've seen people presenting the birth certificate because that's the actual entity that they're trying to act on, and because we're the trustee of the all caps name, we're the person that then goes into court and represents that. And if we just basically agree with whatever, then they've got all rights to say, oh, you've got to pay this fine now, or you've got to do whatever, community service or something stupid. But yeah, they can't give they can't give any sort of orders if you've claimed common law jurisdiction, and basically you just don't you say that you don't want to be governed, and if you've broken a law, if you caused injury, loss, or harm, then yeah, you can be held accountable, but they can't just keep doing you for petty things, just parking in the wrong place and charging you like 300 quid or whatever. And then if you parked in a place where they tow stuff away, you could then say, oh, you've took my vehicle away from me, I'm going to charge you not letting me have my vehicle for so long.
Have you actually tried out any of these things, you know, like going against the laws of the land, like not having a license, for the car?
I haven't tried anything to do with licenses or anything, but I've had a credit card that has been returned back to the lender, and basically they just keep sending it to different bailiffs. So I just send them the same letter as what I sent with the other one, which is a debt validation letter, and they just flop and just say, oh, your case is closed with us, you need to talk to the original lender. My friends got into debt with British Gas, and they're trying to send someone out, but they tried to collect on the debt anyway. They sent it to a debt collector. I sent them the same letter, and they basically just said, your account's closed with us, go and speak to British Gas. And now
is it not working out like you thought it would?
It's well, a little bit different. Like, I've got a credit card thing that I've been doing, and it's basically worked. There's no debt collection agency can come to me and try and get money off me, because they have to send you a notice anyway to say that they're going to be coming, and then that's when you send them, well, show me proof of this alleged debt you're trying to collect fraudulently. But the
How do
British
you
Gas,
feel about all this now then? If you're trying to go against the law by using this other bits which they've sort of hidden, if you understand you can use them to help yourself out of these things, how does that work? I must admit, I'm looking after my daughter, so I don't feel I can do that yet, or be like that, because I just couldn't stand. I've got to look after someone else.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Some people are getting harassed with doing this type of thing, but if they've filled in all the information right, they've sent off the information right, they've put an implied right of access removal, the information that they've sent, the collections agents are technically trespassing. 9 out of 10 of these collection agents, they go to the door, read this notice, and just walk away because they don't want to be held personally accountable for trespassing on someone's property.
It does seem to me, though, that looking at a few videos, that people can find these bank accounts on your birth certificate. The money's there. They've worked out which bank it is, because that's what you've got to do by the numbers on the actual notes. Like the numbers on the notes tell you where the different banks are. I mean, I'm not very good at this. Just this video is showing this. But it seems that anybody that tries to get in there and get an amount of money out, they go to prison.
Yeah. It's because they're not doing it correctly. We need to make it so that the government and whoever else is made aware that that you are the trustee of the account, the all capitals name. You've claimed common law jurisdiction. You've got a real birth certificate, and you can only be held accountable in a common law court. So if the police did come around and arrest you and try to do you for fraud, and you could say, well, no, it's not fraud. I'm the trustee of the account. Here's this information to say that I'm demanding access to my trust account.
No one seems to have been able to have actually got to this money, though, do they? Not really. Apart from going to prison. All I've seen is people go to prison.
And that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, I've seen so many different. Yeah, you see the headlines all the time. Do it like this, do it like that. No. Extravaganza, blah, and it's shit. Nothing happens. It's at the end of it. It's like,
I know what you mean.
I'm concrete and definite. A piece of paper that is. Yeah, I know there's different cases for different cases, but yeah.
We are working towards it. I'm in a couple of groups on, can tell that everything is it's all coming together. It's all starting to form.
What's the name of the group called?
Can
you drop the link in this?
Yeah, can do. Just give me a minute.
Or in the chat so that everyone can.
So everybody's people are trying to find out if they can get this money that's in a bank account traded on your name, and they're making millions of pounds out of you. And most people don't even know. And then they tax us.
Yeah.
I thought that was someone joining into the conversation then. Yeah, Patricia's had a problem with getting on the internet tonight, and so did Richard. So he had to go to his friend's house, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what to say about all that really, because I just can't, I know a lot of people aren't paying their bills and all this sort of stuff and whatever, but I've got someone to look after, so I can't really be like that.
Yeah, that's the A4V process. I've just sent my friends British Gas. They got a bill or a charge through or whatever, but they put a blank payment slip, and I've just sent that A4V. that accepted for value. With some of the videos that I've been watching, what this woman says is,
well, it's a bit noisy, whatever you're doing, Richard, darling. Sorry.
yeah,
It's not you, Astral.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's not you today.
No, I was just saying he's eating crisps.
yeah, I just sent my friend's A4V off. Within 30 to 90 days, it should be discharged from. On YouTube, the woman says that this is basically the way to access the credit that's there. You basically get like a credit card or whatever, max it out, default on the payment, wait for them to send you a letter, then ask for a paper bill, and you've got a slip, and then you fill in the slip, accepted for value, then send that off to the treasury, and it gets discharged, and then it's wiped off your credit record as well.
What, for just writing that?
Sorry?
For just writing that?
Yeah. A lot of people all over the world that are doing it. It's yeah, they're thinking that that's basically the main way to access it. The other way that people are trying to access it is in person, by going into a bank and being like, I'm this account, a credit card or whatever. I want a card from the account so that I can go and buy stuff. But that's like in the air at the minute.
It's just an experiment, isn't it, to see if you can dodge the law?
It is a bit, yeah, it is in a minute, but there's a lot of success coming from the A4V process.
So what have you been doing lately then, Richard, apart from that? Because we haven't seen you for a little while.
Not a lot, really. Bit of work, bit of... Yeah. I've been looking a bit more into Bitcoin and stuff, but yeah, I'm starting to see like how they're trying to funnel everyone into using Bitcoin. Yeah, it shouldn't be forced. It should be a choice, but I think that's what they're going to do. They're trying to force this cashless society so that no one can create their own credit, because at the minute you can join with so many people, set up a bank account, get a multiplier on the account, and it basically just multiplies your money in your own bank account. And then if you ever run out of money, you can ask the treasury, oh, we've run out of money, we need some money, and then they're just going to sort it out for you. But yeah, that's on that monetize certificate of live birth. That's where you set up an account with the bank that you partially own.
Do you know anybody that's had success with this? Just asking.
It's apparently it's live now, so everyone's waiting for payout. They're all waiting for a card to come through the door. They're still accepting people into the program, but as of yet, I haven't seen anything materialize.
So you have to watch this space then, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. It's all of the stuff to do with the credit and everything. It's all a work in progress. There's thousands of normal people just going around like trying to get bits of information and trying to come up with ways that they can access these accounts.
Do you think it's going to happen then?
I think it will, yeah. It's just a matter of time, really.
Mm. You're not worried though about your credit card?
No, not at all. I'm not worried because I know that there's no money exists. It's not, money isn't backed by anything. It's not backed by gold or silver or nothing. It's just invisible numbers on a screen and bits of paper that don't mean anything. It's all about the life energy, and that's the if you sign something that makes something worth something. To do with promissory notes and stuff like that. There will be a way around it soon. I know that A4V is very successful, and that's the main way that people are accessing these accounts and discharging mortgages, discharging credit cards, student loans, or everything. Pretty much everything they're discharging using the A4V.
Well, I suppose people are trying, aren't they, to beat the system, in other words.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm just going to mute myself for 5 minutes. I'm just going to have some tea.
Oh, okay. Astral, where's Astral gone? Yudit, are you there? Yudit.
Sure, I'm here.
What have you been doing today then?
Oh, today, not too much. I was at home today. I pictured the moon today, Luna. Yeah.
And you've been somewhere else as well, haven't you? Because I was there. You've been on another hangout, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, it was incredible. Hangout, yeah, with Jamaican and Dujo and Tiffany and yeah.
Had some very interesting chats on well, what's his channel called? Academy Science.
Yes, Academy Science. Nice. And you were there too, Karen.
Yeah, I was there, Yudit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today I can tell you I'm not a globalist and not flat earth. I'm triangle.
Triangle.
Triangle, yeah. Yeah. I'm speaking like man.
Yeah.
I'm speaking like man. I
So
see the reality like him.
who did you say? I'm sorry, Yudit. Who did you say?
I see the reality like Matt.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought you said Mark, and I thought, Mark, this is Matt. I get Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Astral's back now. Astral, what else have you been doing? Because you haven't been on many hangouts lately, have you?
No, actually, I've been rather busy with work, more or less. Yeah, when I'm not working, obviously I'm at home and I'm looking at things and trying to catch up with all you guys. And when you do 7-hour epic sessions,
Did you
never
enjoy
get
that
over.
then?
I've still not done it.
We've had a very busy time the last few weeks. You know, we've had Fry, we've had Mark, we've had Rose Santos, we've had Santos,
Yeah.
we've had
I've seen many.
Matt, we've had I can't think now. We had Alan a couple of weeks ago. We've had Aaron twice. And we had Pilot LX as well, and Lydia. We've had Marlena. Yeah, it's been quite full on really the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed the shows.
And then this week, tomorrow, we've got Ty from Revival Magazine. And we've got Alan, who's into free energy. And we've got Iron Realm Media. And then obviously we're off Wednesday. And then Thursday, we've got Patricia Steer. And Friday, we've got FPV redoing his model. And Mark Sargent's coming on and whoever else comes on for that one.
Lovely jubbly.
Yeah. But tonight, you know, it was just about having a chit-chat. It's good to just have a chit-chat. They've been quite serious.
How do Joker call his channel?
Space Science, isn't it?
No, Dojo.
Sorry?
Dojo.
Dojo?
Yeah,
What about Dojo?
he has a channel too.
Oh, yeah. He's called,
Yeah.
Mr. Professor. I can't think what the rest of his channel's called. He's called Professor something, isn't he? Maybe Dre will say. Yeah, I liked a lot of the things. He knows a lot of stuff, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Bro Sanchez. He knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he does. I was actually gobsmacked to have this sort of, and even when like on here you can stream for 8 hours and then it cuts itself off. So I thought we were on an after hangout, and I just was like yapping away. I think I was galloping actually. I was just talking about all this stuff. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning. I had not had any sleep, and I was just a bit amazed to be left on a hangout with Bro Sanchez on my own. And then I only realised at the end when he said, "I'm just going to tell the chat room that we're leaving." I thought, what? We've been live for this bit. So that's why there's 2 parts to that hangout.
Oh, okay.
But he listened to me. I was really, yeah, he liked a lot of these things I was talking about. So that was quite amazing.
Yes, Karen. Amazing video. Yes. Love it.
And also, I wasn't even sure whether the hangout was going to happen because, you know, he was sleeping. Santos was really busy. He said he'd come on if he comes on. And, you know, I'm going between all these people. And then I was waiting on the hangout thinking, is this going to happen? And it did. It just went on for 10 hours. Except we did have a sniper in there who actually took out half the hangout. But we just kept going and the rest were okay. That was a bit bizarre, really. And then they deleted themselves.
Yeah, strange. I saw that actually. It was kind of odd.
Yeah. That's really weird. They delete these people and then they delete themselves out of the chat.
Yeah. Has anyone heard about Mad Mike's rocket launch?
Oh, yeah. What happened? That was yesterday.
Apparently it's been cancelled. I'm just seeing here now. 1 hour.
No.
1 hour ago.
By the way,
cancelled. It says so.
Yudit, it's Dojo Time. That's what he's called. I think he's got another name, but Dre's just said Dojo Time.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Sorry, Dojo. And carry on, Astral. Sorry, carry on. Oh, yeah, it's been cancelled.
Yeah, so
That's...
I was kind of a bit upset yesterday about this Jeranism's test, and that didn't kind of happen properly, did it? So, yeah, but all good things come to those who wait. So,
it feels like that, doesn't it? And you have to be
it does.
very, very patient.
Yeah. But then again, it's just another proof, isn't it?
Oh, there's going to be loads of people who will be disappointed. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Wiz Chris says rescheduled for 3 days from now, if I understand correctly, Mad Mike.
All right. Well, that's good.
That's good then.
Needs to happen. It needs to happen now because that's why he's going up there, isn't it? He's going, according to this paper here that I've got, the only reason why he's going up there is to see if it's flat.
There was a post in the actual Facebook last week where this man says he wanted to tie himself to the rocket so he could prove for sure it was flat. Did anybody see that? Like, I think he'd be dead. He wouldn't be able to tell us because he'd be dead.
Ah, come on, he can borrow a suit from NASA.
The thing is, I've looked at that piece of footage. I don't know why I didn't hear it the first time. But first of all, they say that they're going to make the inside of this chamber exactly the same conditions as on the moon. But I mean, how did they know? Because we've never been. But let's just say there's no bouncing or anything going on in there when the astronaut was in there, if they've made it exactly the same as on the moon. The second thing he says to him is something like, let's see how long you can stand it. Yeah. So they obviously knew he was never going to make it to the end. Yeah. So why are they pretending that they're testing a suit and that a pipe came loose when he said, let's see how long you can withstand it, stand it, something like that. Yeah, you can actually go to the footage and you can hear them say it. Yeah. So what's that about then? They already knew he wouldn't be able to stand it. So then they add on, oh, and then a pipe became loose at the back of his suit. And it's like, you have to go there and listen. He says, let's see how long you can stand it. Something like that.
Forward, doesn't it?
So that's completely different than a pipe came loose. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? What they put together and then what they say afterwards. And then my take was that, oh, well, they're lying about a pipe becoming loose. But when you actually listen to all the words that were said, something else was being said. Moon conditions, and see how long you can stand it in there. So why lie to us and pretend a pipe became loose? Do you see what I mean? Right from the beginning, they just knew he wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah,
there he is. Science Academy in the chat room. Yeah, he wants to join for a minute. Yes. Yes, I've sent you the link. Oh, yeah, slow-mo's not on. I better go and put slow mode on. Keep talking for a minute, Astral. I need to go and change something.
Where's the beer guy go?
Richard. He's just having his... He's there. He's having his din-dins.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. All I've noticed of late is that we've had so much rain. I don't know how it's been over there in the UK or rest of Europe, whatever, but it looks like we're going to get... a shitload of rain. But
it's been
working inside tomorrow.
A bit miserable, coldish, dampish, raining or just damp.
Here it's been raining. I mean, I'm working out on a field. We're building like a little shack for some kids for a school and a classroom. And it started out as a football pitch, but now it's just mud. All around it's just mud where we're walking, you know. Just rain. Don't even drive the van there anymore because we can't get the van off.
Is that what it's like generally when it rains in Denmark, or is it just because you think it's been raining rather a lot?
Well, Denmark's a low-lying country, and when we get a lot of rain, and they have problems with cellars flooding, and especially Copenhagen. I'm nowhere near Copenhagen, so that's good.
Whereabouts are you then? My friend Petter.
I'm on the mainland. The part attached
to
Germany.
She lives right at the top. Skagen? She lives Skagen, right at the top where the two seas meet.
Yeah, well, I live south of that. I live in the middle. Where the nose is, I live. More
it's many, many islands, isn't it?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Greenland, is, for example.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that Denmark has sovereignty over Greenland and the Faroe Islands. And so anybody from those countries can come to Denmark and be educated.
Yeah, there's quite a few people from the Faroe Isles and Well, Greenland. One of my best mate actually is from Greenland. So, yeah.
And what it
I
means
think
is
that
that a lot of the people in Denmark like going to Greenland, don't they? And to the Faroe Islands. They're
pass.
above the Shetland Islands.
I've never been. I thought about going to Greenland with my friend actually, and it's one of these out into the wilderness, 2 rifles, you know, for protection only, of course. Just going out, just chilling, you know, going seeing all the all the nature there in Greenland is supposed to be fantastic, you know. Could be good.
My friend Petter said that she sailed around part of Greenland, but it was kind of wintry. They couldn't actually, on the furthest round, sort of as far as they can go up on the left-hand side of Greenland, they couldn't actually get in. It was still too snowy.
Oh, okay, one of the inlets.
She's pretty sure Greenland exists like they say it does. You know, the proper big, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big island, it is.
It's huge. It according to the work I've been following, it's 3/4 of the size of Africa. Hey,
Hello.
hello, Candi. Candi's
Hello.
joined us. Hello, my darling.
How are you? Who's here?
We have Astral Thief. We're waiting for Jamaican Titan to join.
Yeah.
There's the big guy. And there's Yudit from Israel, if you remember Yudit.
Hello.
Did you say the bitter guy?
The beer guy.
Oh.
Hey, this was kind
There
of
he is.
interesting. Can I just interrupt again? I went to my girlfriend's son's school and look at this map they've got on the wall, a giant map. Let me just see if it comes here. Wait.
You have to
You have
turn
to
the
turn
colour
the brightness
Yeah.
down.
You have to go to settings and turn the brightness down,
Okay.
right down.
1 second. Yeah. Oh, shite. Yeah. Where did you disappear?
Have you done it?
Yeah, I've done that. I can't find my picture now. It's only this, right? There we are. Okay. Fucking hell. There's too much glare, isn't there? I've got to turn that screen down. Right, here, look. How can I do this?
We can't see. Oh, there you
Anyway,
go.
a giant map, like 12 feet tall, 100,000 feet wide. It's the Peterson. So I'm in there, and all these smart teachers are there and everything. And of course, I wanted to take a photograph of it. And I don't know who it was. Someone asked, why would you want to take a photograph of that? It's only a map. And I said, no, it's not just a map. This is the Gold Peterson map. And it was like, well, what's so special about that then? You know? So, of course, explain a little bit about the sizes of the countries and yeah. So that was good. I digress. Candi, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Candi, I haven't seen you for a few weeks. You've been to a conference since then.
I haven't talked to you since then.
No.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool. There's Dre.
Hi,
Dre's
Dre.
managed to be on as well.
Hello, hello.
I
Hi,
haven't talked to
Dre.
him in a while either.
How you doing? How you doing?
I think the
Hi,
last time I
Dre.
talked to you was on Sean's panel. I haven't been around, have I?
Yeah, I've been a little MIA lately too, so it's not just you.
It's just
How you
so
doing?
much going on that I just...
Pictures saved on. So just so that Astral, have you met Dre before?
No, I haven't. Am I on?
Dre, Astral Dre, and obviously Candi, who's just come on.
Hi, dude.
Nice to meet you,
And the beer
Astral.
guy.
Yeah,
And the
That's
beer
the beer
guy.
guy.
He makes me thirsty.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you know Yudit, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so Candi, what have you been up to then?
Wow, a whole lot of nothing. I think. I don't know. Nothing really at all. Like, I can't believe how much time has passed since the conference. It really doesn't feel like it's been so long. It's been almost 3 weeks.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, has it been that long? Holy
2 weeks.
crap.
2 weeks maybe. Yeah, because it's the end of the month. It was on the 9th and 10th.
Wow.
Yeah, doesn't feel like it's been that long, does it?
So I saw some
because
of your
it's
footage.
still the height of everybody's conversation still all the drama and all that. It's just like, God, everybody that wasn't there has bad things to say, and everybody that was there has good things to say. So it's
I saw some of your footage, obviously.
yeah, I streamed it.
So you feel quite confident then, because there was this big sort of lull afterwards when people were a bit like, it was great, but I was just thinking, well, at least it's happened. It's on the map.
Yeah, because everybody, yeah, it was, I think for those of us who were there, it was great, but we hate that it's over. That was the only but we had. Like, there's no bad part of it to me. I'm not joining in on all the, this person did it for that reason, and this person did that and said that wrong. And
yeah, right. The labeling and name calling. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a waste of energy. If people would just kind of be responsible for themselves and what they put forward, and everything would probably be all right.
Right. Everybody's so worried about what everybody else is doing and not doing, and it's exhausting.
It's childish. That's a maturity thing. People, when you're into the types of things that we're into, as far as gaining knowledge and information, being enlightened, those types of things comes along with a level of maturity. And if the maturity is not there, you're not truly benefiting from what you're attempting to learn anyway. So it's definitely a maturity thing as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I was joking, but it's kind of true. I said it's a bunch of I feel bad saying this. It's a bunch of conspiracy theorists conspiracizing about things that aren't even happening.
Yeah, or it's like creating a bunch of crap. It's just a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Why even put the energy into it? Okay, it was a good thing. It was a good thing. If it wasn't, it wasn't. Time will tell. People will show their true colors eventually.
I just hate it. It's like one day we were a family, the next day everybody hates each other. So I don't understand it. But yeah, I streamed most of it on my channel. So, and then people were complaining about that. It's like, learn how to get a tripod, sit still. It's like, dude, I'm squished in between people. I'm sitting like, I snuck in the VIP section for y'all so I could stream, for crying out loud. I'm streaming this at first I didn't have permission. I just did it, assuming that it was okay. Like, I killed my battery. I didn't have battery the whole time I was there to take pictures or anything, because I made sure that everybody could watch it because I said I would. And when people have the nerve to complain at me about it, go pay the $27 to watch it then. It's like, I'm so fed up with everything that's going on. It's just God.
Right? Unappreciative.
All the little things.
What'd you say, Karen?
Well, they're picking on all the little things rather than
yeah. And that's what's you just hit the nail on the head. That's what's happening to this community too. Everybody's worried about all of the little things instead of what's the big thing, like the map or there's so many different people fighting about so many different things. It's like, I mean, one day it was like, oh, we have all these differences, but at least we all agree the earth is flat. And then the next day, all the differences made the big difference. Yeah, I just don't get it.
It's not, Candi, sorry to, butt in. It doesn't help anybody continuing it, if you understand. Drop it. Find someone else.
Oh, it's okay.
Wow.
She could say, because we've asked her. I haven't spoken to Candi for a while. She's just explaining what happened.
Yeah, I still love everybody the same. I just wish everybody stopped fighting each other. I like it.
What it is, I'm sorry, Astral, because I know Astral likes things onward, but me and Candi have had to put up with rather a lot of stick lately. That, and they're still giving us stick. You know, that's what it's about, isn't it, Candi?
Not really even that. It's like I'm over that. It's more the whole big thing with everybody now. I just want everybody to go back to seeing the positive out of all of this and stop seeing all the negative. 'Cause, I mean, it's good for nobody.
Yes, I thought we all woke up to flat Earth because we'd realised that we were more sensitive, or we'd woken up. It meant a different way of life, how we talked to each other, how we respected each other. Like dog eat dog out there, isn't it?
It really is. But I'm grateful that we do have a small group of people that we have who aren't really down with the fighting, because otherwise I'd be completely gone. I mean, I'm grateful for the ones who are mature enough to step back from it all. I mean, not like the people don't deserve to have their voice heard about certain things, but some people are taking it way too extreme. Like saying really bad things about some of my friends, and I know these people personally, and this isn't their intentions. None of them have bad intentions. None of the people that I know personally. So I don't know. It makes me question, like, where are your minds? Where are your minds if you're thinking these things about these people?
Well, guess what, Candi? You can definitely have a hug from me. Big flat Earth hugs to you, my darling.
Well, I appreciate it. That's what makes it. Yeah, that's what makes it okay, because there are some people who aren't down with it. Like some people who just don't choose to talk about things that really don't even deserve talking about. Like if you don't have anything good to say about it, then why are you even speaking, especially if you weren't there?
Definitely agree with that.
I don't agree with putting all the negativity out there. It's just,
I think what you slowly have to do is you just have to start learning to not take any notice of it. And if you're getting it, you're obviously getting somewhere. That's what people have told me. But just picking on like that is because they're obviously jealous.
Is it one of those, if you notice this notice, you'll notice that this notice is not worth noticing?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know. Did I catch on to that, or did I?
I just noticed how insane that was. Nice. Nice.
You guys, somebody made a video about, not about me, but it's a friend of mine. There's like a really big halo around the moon. It's really weird. I just walked outside. I'm sorry. So somebody made a video. You guys know I talk fast, right? And so I was explaining something to somebody the other day about, we were talking, I was saying that I wanted to become vegetarian and stop eating meat. And so, you know, we got on the whole conversation about protein and iron. And I was saying, I'm so embarrassed to say this. I was saying iron is iron is iron is iron. Well, he took it and he soundbited it and kept replaying it over and over and over. Oh, I'll put the video in my group later so y'all can see it. It's hilarious, but it's embarrassing.
Well, at least you can laugh.
On a brighter note. I mean, if it was a troll that made the video, I'd probably be like, oh, look at them. But it was a friend. It was all done in jokes and laughs. So.
At least it wasn't done in malice. That's the difference. And a lot of these people.
Yeah, it wasn't a flat earther. Well, he's a flat earther, but he's not in the community. It's just a whole different community of people. But you know what? I will tell y'all this. Being that I do have a couple of other communities that I hang around with on YouTube that are not flat earth people. I will say this, and y'all might feel a little better when you hear this. They have the same exact issues that we do. Not on the same level that we do, but same issues. The ending, the making videos of each other, the drama, it doesn't matter. It's not because we're flat earthers, you guys. It's just people. I did learn that.
We've got to somehow come together, you know, still. You know, the one thing we all know is it's flat, and then all the deceptions, most of the lies, each day another one comes out, or you think, not that as well. Oh, it is everything. Everything's a lie. Everything's the wrong way around. It's just incredible. It's the most nastiest game we're in. But we've still, as the people, you know, it's not really, we're just victims. We're just all victims of this system. So we don't have to be victims anymore. We're coming together as on these chats as flat earthers, and we move on and we stick together. We all know it's flat. No one can prove 100% what the model is. No one right now. Everybody's got assumptions and ideas and how things work.
Is she breaking up for y'all or just me?
Oh, you were breaking up as well.
I think it might just be you, Candi, because you were kind of breaking up when you were talking.
Okay, let me get out. I'll be right back.
Well, I just think it's bad enough what they've done to us in the first place, to be honest. We don't, you know, we have to somehow stick together. It's not the people that we're fighting. They've made us all hate each other. And hate each other in relationships, hate each other's colour, hate each other's this, hate each other's that. So we just have to stop arguing. We're in this mess together. That's what I think anyway.
I agree. And that's where it becomes our responsibility as individuals to stop falling for, you know, the tailpipe, falling for the banana in the tailpipe. They keep doing it. They keep setting these traps, you know, and as a whole, we keep walking right into the trap. Like, you know, particularly in this day and age, there's no reason for people to continuously walk into these traps. I know it's easier said than done, but at some point in time, you know, people need to wake up and understand what's being done to them. And until people wake up and come to that realization, you know, on their own terms and really understand it for what it is, they're gonna keep, you know, walking around, basically propping it up, making it worse, allowing it to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't mean like Dre and I will agree on absolutely everything in the future, but I think people like him or Richard or Astral or Yudit, Candi, we all know that we will be helping. We just know what the cause is, and so we want to be together. I can now hear myself talking. Candi!
Are you echoing because of me? What the heck is going on? Hold on.
We all just know that the outcome, you know, the future, the lies, all that's much more important than us having stupid little squabbles about nothing.
Agree. Yeah, and that's exactly it. We need to not allow that, you know, to become an issue or something that we even waste energy on. It's one of those things that if it's not a part of learning and spreading the truth and understanding about what we are, where we are, and how to, you know, to exist in that paradigm at the most optimal level you can, because there's only so many, so much you can do. But as far as like the nutrition and, you know, kind of like pitfalls to steer clear of, if we're not talking about those types of things, it doesn't even belong, you know, and that boils down to pretty much, you know, that's how you eliminate that type of energy and things as far as the, you know, like the live streams are concerned. We don't have to devote energy to it, but for some reason we allow ourselves to, and it's unacceptable, especially now because, you know, things are getting out of control. We need to correct that.
Yeah, in a sense, there's a part of it that's just getting really nasty, isn't it? But and I know that maybe we have to walk past it. But you know, a few of us have been tapped lately when it's all lies. It's really horrible. You wonder if you want to be here and put yourself out. If that's how people are going to treat you, and then others say, well, that's just part of putting yourself out.
Well,
That's what happened.
I mean, I get that, but no, you're not supposed to allow yourself to be attacked. You know, granted, we can kind of expect that to a degree, but at some point it becomes, you know, one of those things where somebody kind of goes above and beyond, or they overstep their bounds, so to speak. Not to say that anybody has to accept any type of harassment or whatever the case may be, but to a degree, when you're going against the grain and you're putting out the truth and things like that, you're going to innately encounter that opposition. But some of these people take it to the next level where it becomes a personal thing. And these are the people in particular that you're not supposed to allow them, or anybody for that matter, to abuse you and to slander your name and whatever the case may be. So, you know, there are things that you can do to combat that, whether it's legal or just, you know, on the internet level, by the circles you keep. So I get that. I mean, I would go after it. I would talk about the people that attack me on that level. But these everyday average type trolls that just want to come in and disrupt things or whatever the case may be, to waste our time so we can't build in a positive fashion or whatever the case, you know, those people need to be ignored at all costs. And they need to be exposed when these types of people are found out to be what they are. They need to be exposed so that everybody else knows to steer clear of them. That's the only way you can shut them down.
I don't know how it is on yours, Dre. I'm not even quite sure how it is here on the Sun and Moon group, but I'm not quite sure that we have trolls coming onto the Sun and Moon group, do we? Or do we?
A couple of hangouts we have, but one was Rich from this To Thrive and Survive. He accidentally, instead of putting the watch link out, he put the hangout out on his mirroring, and about 5 people added themselves, but they were all quite nice. Because I went, "Who are you?" and "Who are you?" But they were actually quite nice because they just came on to say things like, "Sorry, you're showing the link. We just come on to tell you." And then Mike Helmick, he did it as well one day. He put the link out on the live feed, and one person came on. I think one day we added what looked like Sean G, and that was a troll, and he knocked everybody off, the whole panel, like to start again. And then with the Bro Sanchos one, there was someone there called Elizabeth who deleted these people and then deleted themselves.
Yeah, see, it's, you know, stuff like that you can't necessarily control because they're actually hacking into the hangout or whatever, you know, whatever. But at the same time, they don't necessarily deserve us going into, you know, details and wasting time and whatever, blah blah blah, as opposed to these people that are making these personal attacks. You know, that's a different story. So, you know, that's,
yeah, one's annoying and one is really hurtful.
One's definitely gone too far, and I think that those are the types of people, however, you know, it may pan out or whatever the case, those are the people you want to go after and let them know that, you know what, you can't just go around screwing with people like that. There are going to be some kind of repercussions or whatever the case may be.
But then, Dre, what you learn is you pick your friends and you talk to who, you know, is in your, who treats you and it becomes your friend. And I mean, I haven't known you that long, but I really appreciate you and like you very much already, and you know that. You just do, don't you? So I appreciate you've come along, you know. Anymore, get on with that yourselves, whatever you've got to do. Hello, Dre. You know, other people come along who are sort of same-minded as you. That's what's brilliant about that side of it.
Yeah, and that's you know, that's just that certain energies click, you know. So it's like us like-minded people, we tend to kind of mesh together and come together. We coalesce through the information we seek, or the information that seeks us. It draws us together. But you know, on that other side of the spectrum, then you got these people that want to be divisive and cause problems or whatever the case may be. And like I said before, that's when we have to make the conscious effort to literally shut these people out. Don't even let them within our existence, so to speak, to cause problems. Like I said, I know, you know, trolls are kind of one thing, and when they go above and beyond, you got to deal with them. But as far as like nitpicking and talking junk about people that go to a certain event and whatever, all that stuff is things that people invite into our circle or whatever the case may be willingly. And I think that needs to be left alone. If it's not about the information, spreading the love and knowledge, it just needs to be left alone.
Yeah, because the more airspace you give them, the more they've won. But it's okay sort of talking about people like that, because it does happen. You can't pretend it didn't happen today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But just give them a little bit of space. We have to move on then. Candi, are you back? Candi! But you know, I very much appreciate like getting to know you, Dre. Obviously, Astral I've known for a few months now, and he's really nice as well, and he has his say. But you know, Dojo's another one. I really like what he has to say. Very interesting men.
I appreciate knowing you as well. Definitely love your channel, like the information that you present, the people that contribute to the page or to your channel overall. I just love it. I mean, the information is phenomenal. Gets my gears turning all the time. So I'm definitely.
Oh, that's really nice to know. But then I found more information very interesting today when you were talking on Jamaican's channel, Science Academy. I was really interested in a lot of the things you were saying.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to restart my phone or something, because I've tried to connect to the Wi-Fi and to my regular data, and I see everything's breaking. No, everything's breaking up. Like I haven't heard what y'all are saying. It's just like like the whole entire time. So I'm going to restart my phone. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Sometimes, Candi, can I just say, sometimes, I don't know what phone you've got, but the iPhone leaves pages open. And sometimes when you actually get rid of all those pages...
I don't. I have an Android.
That might be.
I don't mess with anything Apple on it.
Well, come back soon then.
No, I will. I'll be right back. I'm going to restart my phone.
Yeah, and we should be back in a moment. See you in a minute, Candi. Sometimes though, like you said, what stuff you said today was really interesting, you know, and that's what happens when you meet more people and you open your mind up. You have to keep your mind open, and like we don't know everything, so you can't pretend that you know everything.
It's impossible to know everything. The human brain isn't large enough to house or compute or process all there is to know, you know. And then if you take it to a much deeper level as far as the creation is concerned, or that infinite potential, I mean, just the idea of the infinite potential for anybody to think that they know all there is to know, or even remotely close to all there is to know, is an absolute fool. You can't know everything, not in the human body at all, or even out of it for that matter. We are the experience, fractalized. You can't know everything until you know everyone, and that's never going to be a reality. You know, that's not what it's about. It's an experience.
Well, sometimes misunderstandings only happen because they didn't actually understand each other. But the bit when everybody thinks that they know better, I mean, on this quest, I mean, the things I've learned, seen and heard, like it is I can't say the word, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Just, and nearly every day there's some more information you're learning or understanding. It's just like, anyway, I think if you're shut off and you're not learning every day, you're dying inside, really.
Well, can I interrupt? I think we're here on Earth to learn. We're put here to learn. That's in my opinion anyway, the reason, the meaning of life. You know, we're put here. We're going to keep returning until we figure it out. Then we can ascend. That's, you know, that's one idea anyway.
it's an experience. I mean, Earth is to many people many things, I'm sure, but and I think overall it's probably safe to say that it's some sort of learning experience where you basically perfect your essence or your soul. You do things that you need to learn or address as far as the individual is concerned. So to me, it's definitely an experience, but as a fractalized version of the creator, that's just how I look at it.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's your duty, or it's your obligation to basically, to live out that existence to the best of your ability, as far as making that connection with the source. And I think that's where a lot of people fail as beings or inhabitants of the flesh, is they fail to make that connection with the source, whether it's through nature or spirituality. And a lot of people are caught up in this, this synthetic matrix, if you will, of the, consumerism, electronics. It's like externalized artificialities that constantly separate and divide you from nature and the source. And that's where these controllers, if you will, they maintain their power in that way. It's your duty as a divine entity to experience this reality, in an effort to become one with the creator. That's what it's about to me.
Yeah, I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
To understand that, I'm not saying that Dre's exactly the same, but he's understood a lot of what Santos Bonacci's talking about, the whole thing. Had one of the first conversations I had with Dre, I was quite shocked that he'd understood that, what the sun was, the son of God, all that religion. So the first conversation I had with Dre.
Yeah, and it's the funny part about that is, like, I'm the furthest from religion. Like, I'm probably one of very few people that have never actually read the Bible. And I grew up predominantly in a Baptist household. Practically 98% of my family is Christian. The ones that aren't Christian are either Muslim or Jehovah's Witness. So I've been surrounded by religious folks my whole life. I just never took to it because it just didn't feel right to me for many reasons. So I just kind of never took to it because even as a youngster, I kind of looked at religion as being a problem, just because from what I was taught in like Sunday school and from how I interpreted it, it was basically saying that if you didn't live in America, you're going to hell. I mean, for lack of better term, this is just not knowing that Christianity was beyond America, but this is kind of like how I took it, and it just didn't make sense to me. So I understood that, no, this is wrong. It's bigger than this. This is just I guess I don't even know the word to call it because I don't want to really offend anybody, but I've never been religious at all. Been around it my whole life. And not until I got into the flat earth did I really start to reevaluate my spirituality and accept it for what it is, because at one point in time I could actually say that I was atheist, even though I did to a degree believe that there was something higher, as far as a creator, so to speak, but I didn't believe it in the terms of the creator like that. To me, it was more of like an ancient aliens type thing where these like aliens came and, whatever the case may be, but I don't look at it that way anymore. And it's flat earth that brought me to that ultimate understanding as far as the creation is concerned.
Yeah, Astral.
I'm just doodling here, like a.
But I'm not religious though at all.
Yeah, but
I'll have to say a sort of similar thing. I've looked in the Bible. I've been brought up, you know, with going into churches and things, but not like I went to church every week or anything like that. No, far from it. If there was a christening, I'd go. If there was a wedding, I would go. That's my church going. But well, after discovering this and all that Santos says as well, I mean, it totally, it cannot be anything other than. So I mean, that's where I am as well. I'm right there.
so I just said to you, I'm just going to go and quickly get a drink. But I just wanted to say also that Bro Santos is very similar. His belief now of what he believes it all is, he is very similar as well.
Yeah, I've also seen lots of his work as well, and that's, you know, I mean, I think many people have. If you see one, you see the other. You're into this, you're into that. It's similar, you know. I mean, we're trying to all find syncretism, and that's there. There's so much of it there, and that's what I feel is I feel compelled to watch Santos. I love his stuff. I love his the way he talks as well, and he makes me laugh. You know, especially the way he makes me laugh. His humor, yeah, love him. And if he's listening, then awesome stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely love Santos Bonacci's work and Brother Sanchez as well.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, they've both contributed to my overall understanding like immensely in ways that I can't even express. It's just it's sometimes
not just you. So many people, I would say.
Yeah.
Look at how many people
absolutely.
follow them. Yeah. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, not at all, brother. It's just kind of like sometimes I can't even put it into words because to me, for me, it was kind of weird, you know, as far as, like I said, I'm not religious or nothing like that, but I definitely believe in a creator. I just don't get into the different, you know, cultural aspects of it, whether it's a Bible or Quran, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But when you actually realize that what we live in and how it possibly came to be, and you understand all these little intricate things that are not coincidence, and you know, it's just awe inspiring, and it kind of, you know, it kind of makes me at a loss for words, you know, to actually describe that creation and to understand how it works. And then when you look at the works of like a Santos Bonacci, how he breaks down, you know, things like the Taurus field amongst other things, and then you couple that with something like the ancient cosmology with the feminine energy, like what Brother Sanchez brings to the table, and you begin to see how all this stuff is interconnected and how compelling it is. It's just mind blowing. You know, to me, it's extremely fascinating, and it boggles my mind that people don't want to understand where they come from and what they live in on that level. Like, to me, this is like the biggest thing ever that people, it just boggles my mind that people have no interest in this type of stuff, you know, that they're teaching. Like, it's just mind boggling. Love their work though.
Could I just say that Candi's come back and also Josh has joined us. Josh Uber.
My connection is so much better. I had to restart my phone. I couldn't hear anything. So let me just interrupt this conversation for a second and tell you guys what just happened. I just walked into my house and my daughter's laying there with my laptop in her lap. And when I walked past her, she covered up the screen. Guess who was on the screen? Bill Nye, the science guy.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So last night in your house, like the equivalent of being caught watching porn or something? What?
Right. Right.
Wow. That's funny.
That is hilarious.
Oh my God.
Is that for homework then?
I don't know. It was like she's still she's recently said the earth is flat, you know? So it's like she's still in that beginning stage where I think that she's still kind of questioning it. So she's watching both sides of it.
Cool, isn't that sad though? She's so young. So imagine for her things can change so much quicker and
Yep.
And she's still like debating. Oh, my daughter's the same. Well, I've asked my daughter
She's 15.
to out the window when we're doing 50 miles an hour and tell me if she can handle it. So she did. She said, all right.
Yeah, my daughter's 15. She just turned 15 the other day.
It's just into it all, are they? So that's partly what it is.
Yep.
We're into it all, but the youngsters, they're not into it all.
Well, what they say is, so what if it's flat? I don't care. I know it's flat, but I don't care. That's what they say. Like, what do you mean you don't care? Because really, why would they care right now?
Yeah,
My eldest son sort of says, well, what does it matter? But the thing is, if you actually knew it was a lie, everything would matter.
Yeah,
but not to a child, because they've never had to pay taxes. They don't know. They don't know what the lie entails.
In a way, it's a scary thought, because if the children and all these kids and all that, like, it doesn't matter, who cares, you know, then we're screwed.
Okay, but you guys, I have a theory on this, okay? So I keep saying, like, what's going to happen is, I don't know if you guys saw Earth Pond's interview with me from the conference, but, like, I told him whenever our children start asking questions in school and they're, hell no, that's not true, in the teacher's face, they're going to have huge problems. So I think the chemtrails are spraying on us, make us, all these kids say, oh, I don't care, so what? I mean, it only takes a couple of generations to let it leak out. And then everybody else who thought the globe was a globe's already dead, so nobody's really going to give a shit. Think about that.
Pretty much. Fluoride's a big part of that too. It kind of makes you don't care, let alone all the pharmaceuticals that they got the majority of the population jacked up on. You know, that are probably laced with your fluoride and whatever else.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day too. Like, so many, like me, everybody knows I have ADHD. When I was in school, they would have to put my desk, like in high school, they would have to put my desk on the outside of the classroom because I would disrupt the class. I was the class clown.
Oh, wow.
And like, yeah. And like, so I know a lot of flat earthers are like, when they were a child, they were labeled as ADHD or, you know, had to be in special classes. And a lot of them didn't finish school because, you know, dumb stuff. I've noticed that. Well, what if like, they were labeled as something with a disability because they weren't so easily to be programmed. Like there's something different in their brain, like in a good way.
Well, yeah.
I think that's what they say nowadays about labeling these children with ADHD.
So many of these kids are so doped up when they go to school every day. So many. It's scary. On all these medications from the doctor.
So basically, they get them so high in school to the point where they're like, yeah, screw it. It could be a ball.
Well, then what happens is they turn 18. They're not on their mother's or parents' or whatever insurance anymore. They can't afford the medication. So then they start doing meth. Right? That's why my kids, like my son's on ADHD medicine, and he just turned 18. And I won't take him to the doctor to get more. I want him off of them.
DMAE, Candy. DMAE. I'll text it to you later. It's what they were using to treat ADHD before this whole Ritalin and Adderall craze. It's the DM stands for dimethylate, which is the natural form of what they copy when they make methamphetamine. And like anything else, when you make something man-made from something, trying to copy something natural, we screw it up, like we do everything. But yeah, you can get DMAE. You can actually get it like GNC.
See, I don't understand why they have the medicine that it's Strattera is what it's called, is the adult ADHD medicine. It doesn't have the stimulant in it, which is the medication that I was on, but I don't take anything anymore. I stopped taking medication in October of 2015, but I was on, he called it adult ADHD medicine. It doesn't have stimulants in it. Well, why in the hell can you give an adult something that, because it doesn't have a stimulant, and, you know, but you aren't going to give a stimulant to a child? Why can't you give the child the medication without the stimulant? Wouldn't that make more sense? I mean, I really don't understand it.
They're trying to get them while they're young.
The stimulants, like for instance, on Science Academy with Dre earlier on, I was just saying that, you know, with antidepressants, say for instance, they almost make it impossible for that person to have a relationship because they don't feel anything. They don't feel anything mentally, emotionally, or physically. It just cuts out all the feelings. It's hard to love. I'm not saying that people don't maybe need something sometimes, but those things don't actually help with your feelings. They're only numbing your feelings. And when you stop taking them, all those feelings and everything you've not dealt with come back. But it's a way of damming down the people one way or another.
Yeah, it's priming them as children, so when they become adults, they're basically so easily controlled. It just takes mere propaganda to keep them in line, and this is exactly why they do it. Because
they're already there, aren't they?
it helps them. It helps them to control the population. Yeah. This is one of the purposes that, you know, things like Common Core, that BS system that they have implementing in schools all over the place, because they're trying to dumb these kids down and make them to the point where they're easily manipulated.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah,
and of course the other thing is that I don't know about America exactly, but the UK, everybody drinks massively when you're young. I don't know about Richard. Don't think Richard does. Do you, Richard? Even though you do drink. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's the same in the States.
Everybody has to drink to oblivion, almost to being sick, and then they slobber over somebody.
I'm gonna tell you something like this. I don't know how it is in other countries, but I can say, like where I live in particular in New Jersey, we have issues with things like 7 and 8 year old meth addicts, 9 and 10-year-old opium or heroin addicts.
What?
Kids that are literally hardcore addicts because they've been exposed at such a young age where they grow up. Like Camden, I'm not too far from Camden. If anybody's ever heard about Camden, New Jersey, it gets a lot of bad rap and it gets blown out of proportion in some instances. But by far, this place, it's a shame. And they have things like this where you literally have kids that are barely, in grammar school that are literally hooked on hard drugs, whether they were introduced through prescriptions that they were stealing out of their medicine cabinet from their parents, or whether the parents give them to the kids because it kind of like makes them mellow out so that they can enjoy themselves, whatever the case may be. These types of things go on, and it's a shame when you find kids that haven't even hit puberty yet and they're addicted to hard drugs like meth and heroin. It's sad, but they do this because that's what they want you to be a part of, to fall into that trap. You got to be smart enough to avoid it.
I knew you were from the Northeast coast. I was going to ask you if you were from Connecticut, because I'm from Connecticut, and you have to kind of but I couldn't figure it out. I knew it wasn't Connecticut, but it's somewhere up there.
Jersey, New Jersey for sure. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, it's really sad when children are involved in all this, isn't it? Because, I mean, when you're starting to do those things so early on, then that's just...
It really is. That my daughter told me that there was a kid at school had cocaine. I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. She just said multiple kids at school with cocaine. My daughter's a freshman in high school. Like,
oh yeah. I listen to this. This is from personal experience. My wife's in law enforcement. When my twins were younger, they were in the daycare for some point in time. There was a particular morning where one of the parents dropped off their kid with a loaded weapon, a loaded 9mm hollow tips, 8 ball of cocaine in a diaper bag. She sent it into the school with the kid and then leaves. So anyway, once the aides or whatever in the daycare, they start emptying out the diaper bag, putting the cereals and the milks away or whatever, how they normally do. They come across this, what looks like a dirty sock, and it's kind of heavy. They start to basically go through it. They find the weapon and they find the drugs. These are some of the types of parents that you have where they're that irresponsible that they will take their loaded 9mm with hollow tips, which are illegal for each one, and put it in something like that. That's the level of stupidity and selfishness when it comes to some of these types of individuals. So it's not far-fetched or even uncommon in this area to have, 7 and 8-year-olds that are addicted to hard drugs because they're literally right in the diaper bag in some cases. You know what I'm saying?
Oh and
that's
you're a product of your environment. So
can I say something? That's right. Living in the system. The boy's dad, he was a farm manager, but they had this sort of children's home, but it was a therapeutic community for highly disturbed children. And the whole idea was to pick children from inner cities who have gone through just things like that and then regress them so that they could suck their thumb, do all these things that they have not been able to do as children, and then progress them forward. But of course, you can imagine what it's like. It's like a boarding school with all these boys in it who are angry, who aren't at home, who've had horrible lives. And yeah, it was a really hard place to live. But there are places trying to take children out of inner city. But if you already know that now the system's so corrupt and everything is just wrong, I don't know where it puts all those places trying to help these inner city children. I mean, for instance, one boy, he couldn't go home in the holidays because his parents were turning his bedroom into a bathroom. I mean, like, what? These poor kids. God. I don't even want to mention that. You can only imagine. Dre's just been talking about a bit of it. The things that some of these children see. But then they're victims, and then their parents are victims, and everybody's victims are victims. And kind of in this sort of psychology I've been looking at is quite often if parents don't wake up or understand who they are and have been treated badly, they then take it all out on their children and retake it back from their children, what's been taken from them. Often don't treat their children very nice.
Yeah.
They're just taking back what they had taken from them and don't realise it in the generational cycle thing that's going on.
And that's where the parent fails, because once that parent, whether they made a conscious decision to be a parent or it's just, for lack of better terms, a subsequent consequence of what they chose to do, once you have that child, you become a parent. You need to alter the way that you think and the way that you act and things of that nature. You need to change your behaviors and cater to that child. So you need to make a conscious decision to break
because
that
actually you're responsible for them.
Absolutely. Like I said it before and I'll say it 1,000,000 times over. I could be one of those types of people according to the things that I've experienced, from the time that I can remember up until about 17 or 18 years old. And I could use each and every one of those experiences to be a nasty, bitter, ignorant POS that runs around and shits on the world. But I don't choose to do that. I choose to take and make a conscious, concerted effort to be a good person and to put out, put that love and caring out to other people, and treat my kids and show my kids something better. You know what I mean? So that's a conscious decision, and the parents themselves are failing, not only themselves, but they're failing their kids by not doing that. If you can't be that type of a responsible person, then you really need to think about, having a child, and not after you had the child, but before. This is the type of basic logic and reasoning that people tend to disregard when they get caught up in this matrix or whatever, just living the lifestyle. It's all, fun and games. Everybody wants to go out and have fun and have sex, which is cool if you're responsible about it. But if you choose to bring a child into this world, whether you purposely did it or whether you did it on accident, you need to step up to the plate, be a parent, and break that damn cycle, be responsible.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we're a society now where we go, well, it wasn't my fault. It's nothing to do with me. It's all like that, isn't it? But again, the laws have been changed like that as well. I mean, my kids were smaller. They changed the law so that if you help someone else, you could get into trouble. Like someone, say, comes into your house, breaks in, and you hurt them, you're in just as much trouble as they are. So it stopped people. That also stopped people helping each other.
Yeah, we've had a couple instances around this area for instance, like somebody broke into somebody's house, and somewhere along the line, the owner of the home decided to unleash his dog, and the dog, tore that ass up. Excuse my language, but the dog, did what he was supposed to do. He went and had himself a little midnight snack, and here the intruder had the audacity to file a lawsuit against the people that they broke into the house and got attacked by the dog. I'm like, really? Where they do that at? Once you break into somebody's home,
the law.
Yeah, exactly. It's
the law
nuts.
is never protecting you; it's always protecting someone else. Either way, if I'm looking at you, the law protects you, and you look at me, the law protects me. It doesn't. It's just the whole thing is crazy.
You're right, because look, when I got robbed, Uber sent me their privacy policy. I mean, come on,
like, really? It's nuts. It's nuts. It is nuts. But that's a part of the.
But it's been set up like that on purpose, hasn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's basically, in my opinion, all of these little intricate systems or whatever that we think are so benign. They're insidious because they actually do major damage, and you don't even realize it just because you're a part of a system that was introduced to you from day one. So it feels comfortable. It seems normal. It doesn't seem like it's a detriment per se until you really start to get into the mechanics of it on the shady side and you understand it. But that's what makes it so difficult to shake, because most people just have the notion that, oh, we're just crazy and we're just making this up because we're conspiracy theorists, or we're we're paranoid. And no, that's not the case. It's just that this is what you live in. This is what these people are doing to you. It's just a matter of you waking up and realizing it, and then putting out the conscious effort to make a better decision so you don't become ensnared in those pitfalls. That's what we're failing to do as a society. We're still becoming ensnared into pitfalls willingly, because most people just don't have the time or the interest in finding out how they're being manipulated and controlled, because it doesn't affect their daily life, or it's going to interrupt with their programming tonight, and I can't watch my DVR at 7:00 with my whatever, and it's a shame.
Sort of changing the subject a little bit. Richard here, we were just talking before you came on, and he's been looking up the birth certificate and how they've done all that. I mean, when you start off by lying to us and giving us a death certificate, and then trading on that death certificate and making thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on you, they really expect anybody else to trust them or respect them after that?
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
I think that's something that, however it came to light, so to speak, it's gaining more traction, obviously, and this is something that they either couldn't stop, or whatever the case may be. But
I mean, Richard, I think it might have been Richard, him that noticed that if you go to court, the judges you have in county court or something, is that right, Richard? They actually aren't under maritime law. And once you ask them to recount their, what did I say it was? Their declaration.
Their oath or
their
whatever.
oath, that's
Right.
it.
And they can't do it.
Was it you? Was it you that said it, Dre? I can't remember.
It probably was me at one point in time. I'm sure I touched on that.
Yeah, explain it.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to give people the exact terminology or whatever the case may be, but basically what it amounts to is what we operate in is what they call maritime law, and it's basically a system that includes your social security number. It's your strawman account, basically. It's a fictitious entity that's set up when you're born. This is where your birth certificate, social security number, how it's linked to you and your corporate account, the UCC codes, your sovereignty. Like a lot of this stuff is all interconnected to this maritime law. Basically, I mean, to kind of like put it in a nutshell, you're basically a commodity. You know, you're traded on the stock exchange. Your social security is your bond that's connected to your account. Like all this stuff is.
You're a walking corporation, basically.
Well, see, now this is where it starts to get a little deep and tricky and seedy or whatever. Now, when you break down the word corporation, for instance, what's a corp? A corpse is a dead body, and oration is to speak. So instantly, when you say corporation, it means dead speak. This is why when you get, for instance, when you get a summons to court, because you summons the dead to appear in court. And how it goes down is if you understand how this stuff works, when you go into that court system, which is representing the ship or whatever that's afloat in this maritime sea, so to speak, of commerce, if you understand how to navigate that particular situation, once you ask these judges at a particular time to basically state their oath and whatever the case may be, they can't do it. This is why they usually adjourn, or they call a recess, which is basically the equivalent of them jumping ship. And then at that point in time, you know, you say a certain thing, and this basically removes you, the natural person, from this whole situation that they've got your corporate entity, your fictitious straw man tied up into. So it's deep. But like I was saying, like people, like if you start getting into this maritime / commerce connection, it is deep down to the terminology that they use: currency, banks. These are all things that refer to like water and how it flows. You have things like something like a deal with people that are sailing, which is actually a sail from a ship, but they're selling you. So it's a play on words in a lot of instances. But a deal, this was a pretty interesting thing that I learned. A deal is actually the planks of wood that they used to put on the decks of the boats. So when you have a merchant, a person that sells merchandise, that usually is something that came in on a ship. They would take you onto the ship and they would cut you a deal. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to get into all this stuff, it's nuts how intricately intertwined it is. And when you start to break down these words and understand what they mean according to like a Black's Law Dictionary, which is the legal version that most people aren't aware of, it's just completely mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing. And you see how that's when you really realize how intricately set up this system that we live in is. And that's when you, to me at least, it really drove the point home that you can't defeat this on a physical level. You need to be right in your energy. You need to be right, spiritually, or with the creator, making that connection with nature and things like this. Because if you're not connecting on that level, on that level, you're falling by the wayside, and you are so far away from becoming one with whatever it was that created you in the beginning that it's like it's just mind blowing. And I suggest people like really look into it. I hope to put a nice little presentation together shortly, and sometime coming up and post it on my channel. But it's just one of those things, another one of those things I just find absolutely fascinating.
Can you just explain a bit about going into court then and getting him to explain his oath and what could happen if you're...
From what I understand, basically there is really only two types of law: natural law, and that's the law of the land and the law of the sea. All right, so now, however it goes down because of this fictitious corporation that they set up and all this other straw man mumbo jumbo, when they get you into court and you ask this judge or whatever to state their oath, they can't do it because they have no jurisdiction on the land. You see, they only have jurisdiction over the seas. This is why they declared maritime law, so they can basically levy that jurisdiction upon you for participating in the system. Now, if you don't participate in the system, then that makes you naturally a sovereign, but you need to know how to navigate this in order to be not necessarily left alone, because odds are they're going to harass you, but you need to really be on your P's and Q's as far as how do you navigate this system on a level that they can't touch you. And in order to do that, you need to understand that maritime law and things like that, commerce. You need to understand there's certain things that you have to say and certain things that you have to do, and if it's not done to a T, basically they're going to have their way with you. It's like when you go into that courtroom, and this is why like lawyers are so important, because a lawyer knows how to play that game in that forum where most people don't. All right, now it's just like any other case. If you have a lawyer that knows what he's talking about, you don't necessarily have to be innocent if he knows how to maneuver through that system and use what's set up in order to basically kind of escape, so to speak. Lawyers do that all the time, and this is basically what the sovereignty thing is about: learning how to use that system to your benefit. And these people basically usurped these two natural laws and created it into a system that you buy into once you agree that you're a citizen. A citizen is not necessarily something that you want to be, but most people think it's a good thing, because when they say, oh, are you a citizen of the United States, which is a corporation, technically you should be saying no. The moment that you say yes, now you're basically accepting the rules that they levy upon you for participating in the system that they've created, regardless of how defunct and illegal it is. But when it comes to the courtroom, you need to know the things that apply as far as the Black's Law Dictionary and what these terms actually mean, or what these words mean, because the words don't mean the same thing in the courtroom. This is why you need a lawyer, unless you are aware of, what those things are in order to represent yourself successfully on that level and literally make the judge jump ship. You gotta know when to basically pull that trigger and let them basically, corner themselves. And then once you pull that trigger on that level, if you've dotted all your I's and crossed your T's, you can literally walk out of a courtroom and there's nothing that they can do to you other than harass you, possibly. So it's very interesting.
It's horrible as well, though, isn't it, that they've done that?
Oh yeah, it's actually scary. Like when you really get into like the depth of it and the complexity, down to like what they would call, I guess, white magic, where you're actually casting spells and these types of things by the choice of words and things on that level, how it's all intricately connected. It's fascinatingly scary. I'm just going to say it like that.
Good choice of words.
Yeah,
Good does the word. Yeah, it is.
absolutely.
Richard,
Um,
you know all this, don't you? Richard, you've looked up all this, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. Been on it for about a year now. Looking at this sort of information.
Sorry, Richard, to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
Ray, did you say that you're going to do a site or something? You're going to do a video, sorry,
Presentation.
about this presentation.
Oh yeah, I just like yesterday, I just like uploaded my first video ever. It's like an intro on my channel. But this is one of those things that I'll definitely like do a presentation, if you will. Like I'll just pretty much talk about the things that I know. There'll be, you know, pictures and stuff to go along with it, so I can kind of explain, you know, a little more detailed and entertaining, because I like to make it somewhat entertaining, you know, so it's not going to just be like, you know, me talking on a mic like this is that, you know, whatever. It's going to be somewhat visually as well as verbally, as far as going into Black's law, maritime law, commerce, and all these things, how it's connected through etymology, you know, stuff like that. So eventually, you know, I will be putting something together like that and uploading it on my channel.
Looking forward to it. That was all I wanted to ask. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Richard.
no
Thanks
problem.
for that.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, I can share the link for you if you like as well.
Isn't there a way to sue them too, to get some of your some kind of account that they have in your name, like a saving fund? What is that deal?
Well, that's where your UCC code and all that kind of stuff comes into play. And if you know how to basically go through the process of basically, I mean, I don't know if it's been a while, but I don't know if I'm using the proper wording, but I think it's called accepted for value. Basically, you can kind of like go through a process where, you know, you write certain things a certain way, along with some other things. It's not as cut and dry as the way I'm saying it. It's a little more involved or whatever, but there's certain things and certain processes that you have to go through. But if you're successful in it, and you know, you do it properly, basically, I guess you're kind of like discharging your debt, because technically that debt doesn't exist. It's kind of sick, because I mean, think about it. We live, particularly in the United States, we live in a system where the debt is so astronomically large, we can never get out of it. The Fed issues money at interest. So basically, in order for our government to run, we have to borrow money. As long as you're borrowing money at interest, you're never going to be able to get out of that debt. This is one of the reasons why the Fed is so dangerous, and it doesn't belong, you know, in our system. But it has to kind of like, it kind of has to like disappear.
Mm-hmm.
You're never gonna get out of that debt, and the money. It's like you need it. You see what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
sick. It's sick the way they got it set up. But actually, I was gonna say something and I kind of lost my train of thought. Hopefully, it'll come back to me though.
It definitely is sick. It's just a really horrible game that we've been put in. It's all just a game. And it's so intricately done. Everything is so intricately done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where literally, I mean, like most of us, obviously on the outside looking in, but it's like the more of this kind of stuff you peel back, and you can actually relate it to your everyday life, and you can see how it's intertwined into, you know, your physical being in a way that you had no clue about. When you understand how intricately it is actually set up, that's when it really drives it home that, you know what, I mean, the system's been around for quite some time, because it's the only way that it could have been perfected to this level. You know what I mean? It's nuts. It's nuts. Fed's a big problem, though. Definitely.
Yeah, and it makes it worse when you know the truth a bit more, doesn't it? It's almost like I thought we were just going to learn the world is flat. Not that everything's a lie, religion's a lie, this is a lie, the birth certificate's a lie, it's a death certificate, the history's a lie, 9/11's a lie, hoaxes, the news is a lie, the war's a lie. It's just, oh my goodness, it's horrible.
Yeah, right. If Pinocchio was real, well, his nose done grew so long, if it really was a globe, it would have came around and poked him in the back of the head again. We know that it ain't a globe, though. It ain't gonna happen. But yeah, they been lying like a mug, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like we can really go anywhere at the moment, is it really? Who's going to listen?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's why it's...
Yeah, haven't they? They've left us on YouTube.
Earlier, Candi was talking about the kids. Sorry, I hate saying about the kids. And when you say to them, what if the Earth's flat? You know, and they're like, yeah, well, who cares? You know, yeah, what if? That kind of thing. Well, once it is determined, once that wall has fallen, you know, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're there. I'm just pondering over it now a little bit, like, you know, well, how long is it? How far is it? How wide is it? Then it's a matter of explorers becoming explorers again.
Yeah, I suppose we all are explorers, aren't we? Because nothing's true. So it is exploring it all again, isn't it?
Yeah. And they're going to have to rewrite the books.
That's one thing they will never do. They will literally try their best to vaporize everything before they rewrite their books.
Yeah.
Like seriously, it's like one of those. It's kind of like one of those little things. Just imagine where you go to the ballpark, and then like the guy that's been kicking everybody's butt and like basketball meets his match, and now somebody came and beat him finally, and now it's like, you know what, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home, and it's like, well, you can't take your ball, we're still playing, and then he like pulls out a knife and cuts the ball in two and leaves.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to destroy it. They're not going to just walk away and let us, take over it and mold it or whatever the case it may be to what we like it. They'll definitely pull the plug.
It's never going to be easy, though, was it? If they spent all that time and energy. I mean, even when you think of NASA, all the lying, covering up.
Yeah.
But it's just like earlier on today, I mentioned it, that even like the space thing, it takes your freedom away. Everything is to take your freedom away. The laws are to take your freedom away. It's all about taking your freedom away, whichever way you look at it, the whole thing. The thing about our essence or God or creator, whatever, that's taken away. They're giving you a fake reality, which is space, and pretending, like I listened to the one, I can't remember her name now, one of the astronauts, but she was saying, oh, they come up once a week. Pardon?
Jill?
No, I can't remember which one it is now, but
It's called Kelly.
No, not that one. I do know what her name is, but I just can't think right now, sorry. But she was saying that they come up once a week with the napkins and things. It's a week with napkins.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, and that, they're just making this whole fake reality, and that, I know that we all believed it maybe for a while, but it's just this whole fake reality, which takes your freedom away. It's all about numbing you down and taking your freedom away.
Oh, yeah. For me, coming into the real, all these eye-opening moments, I ain't gonna lie, like when I first started coming into a lot of this stuff and realizing it, I was depressed. Like seriously, I was sick. Like I knew people, you know, that were running the show, whatever the case may be. Like, you know, they were a little twisted and they were doing stuff that wasn't good for us. But I didn't know it was like that. Like I was depressed, serious for like maybe 4 or 5 months. And it's like I would wake up in the morning and I just didn't feel right, and everything was weird. Looked at everything differently, and I just kind of had like this really nasty taste in my mouth. And then, but after that, though, after that wore off, that initial kind of depression or whatever that I experienced from the stuff that I was learning, I've never felt so free in my life. Like literally, I felt like after that kind of feeling went away, I felt like I drank a case of Red Bulls and I was just kind of like floating around because I felt like I was on the right path to, you know, what mattered. And then over time, it just kind of got more intense or whatever the case may be. But even though I come across stuff right now that kind of makes me really think that, man, humanity is sick. But at the same time, just knowing how I carry myself on a personal level and the things that I seek and the types of people that I seek and the type of energy that I choose to put out amongst those people is what it's all about to me. So it was liberating ultimately. And
yeah, re-educating.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same for who else feels peace in their heart. I mean, I think part of it, you have to know who you are as a person, because if you don't, then you're never going to believe whether it's a flat or it's a globe, are you? If you don't know yourself and you don't know what's going on. But knowing yourself a bit, and then this flat earth thing, I don't know, it just brought more peace for me.
Yeah, I think that knowing that there is a creator, that it brings, to me anyway, it brings peace, you know.
Definitely agree with that. And wonder.
And I bet you these
a lot of wonder.
I've been with you since you were a child. Candi, Astral, Richard, Josh, Dre, Yudit. I bet you since a child you knew something. Most of us lose it as an adult, don't we? But I bet you the feelings you've got, that sensitivity you've got, that bit that connects us, has been there since we're children.
Absolutely. 110%.
It's noetic.
Sometimes I think that perhaps that we kind of like go in cycles. Like everybody doesn't reach maturity or whatever the case may be at the same time. I think that may apply also on a spiritual level, like how we all come to the truths that we've come to understand. I think that may be how it's meant to be. We can't necessarily wake up everybody. It's our time, you know, and we've become, you know, those people that understand things to the point where it frees us on a spiritual level. They're just not there yet.
Agreed.
You know, maybe hopefully one day they get there. We can still try as we may to bring people closer to the truth by exposing them to the flat earth, which is just a tool to open the door to other things to help them grow. But ultimately, I think that us trying to turn everybody to understand things that we do is probably fruitless, because it's probably just not meant for them to move on, you know, at our pace or at this time.
Do you know what I feel? People can say this differently, and I'm sure that dribs and drabs of people are still going to wake up. But there seemed such a big awakening in 2016. I'm not sure whether this is it. Who is here now, and dribs and drabs will follow. But there isn't suddenly this mass wake up. There was a mass wake up in 2016, and then it sort of slowed down a bit.
I think there's been a mass wake up since about, well, probably forever. But from 2010 anyway, I've been at least knowing of this awakening. So at least from 2010, people have been waking up. Now it's kind of, it must be going at a ratio of Fibonacci. Who knows? But it's going exponentially now, I think. Anyway, it's like,
it will help with someone like Freddie Flintoff coming out with it.
Yeah, but so many people are waking up, just waking up. I mean, to right, conspiracies. But when you get to the flat Earth, then it's like, well, okay, all these conspiracies, they're small
The thing is,
fry.
we're never going to know how it quite goes, because I know FPV won't mind me telling, but on one of Cat's Eye's hangouts, she had over 2,000 people who'd gone to look at the hangout, and yet on her panel she could see it, but publicly it said 200. Yet 2,000 had been there to view her hangout. So we're never going to, they're just covering everything up and playing games. It's letting us communicate with each other, but there's still all these games going on. And I think FPV was telling me where someone could only see a very small amount of people had liked their video, and then there was a glitch. The glitch cleared, and like nearly a million or something views turned up, like whatever it was.
Technology. I would be quite interested to see, actually, something like a database where all us FE, we're all on there. One thing somewhere where there is like, and nothing that can be held by anybody, but by everybody, if you know what I mean. An Aaron thing. It would be interesting.
Well, Aaron's thing is coming. Aaron's Lumen project is coming.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it may not suit everybody, but at least he's really tried and spent a lot of time. He's got conviction, he's got energy, and he's already trying to put this thing in place.
He has his
I mean, who else is doing that? Yeah. And I mean, if you actually see his program, it's really detailed. It's not, I mean, maybe bits have been missed off that he might have to add, or bits he's got to change, but it's pretty detailed, his program. Oh, who just fell out then?
Uber.
Oh, Uber. Oh, he's back. There's Uber.
Hey, guys.
He's gone quiet. I think he's out.
Well,
That's
I had to
all
call
right.
a
He's just
customer right now.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
about to drop off. I'm about to have dinner. Maybe I might be able to make it back on, but just in case I don't, just wanted to say thank you to Karen, of course, for having me on, and just wanted to say, peace, love, and respect to everybody, and hopefully I can join back with you guys.
Oh, thank you, Dre. It's always a pleasure, and have a nice dinner, and hopefully see you back or see you very soon.
Yeah, it was good.
Big flat Earth hugs.
Definitely flat Earth hugs.
Yeah,
I definitely, I love coming
I
here.
did that because of that.
We'll definitely be together again, I'm sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
So in the meantime,
Wait, reload that picture.
in the meantime, everybody take care, and
Thank you, my darling. Have a nice
Bye,
day.
Dre.
Absolutely.
I said Dre. I meant Dre.
It's all good.
He must be
Peace.
talking about me.
All right, y'all take care.
Bye, dude.
Thank you, Dre. Well, to be honest, I was getting confused the other day. I kept because I know they're not the same, but Bro, Sanchez, and Santos, I was getting confused.
I never really knew who he was. I never heard anything from him before. I still really haven't watched the stuff. Like I didn't even know who he was until he was on here.
Santos, you talking about?
I had heard of him, obviously, because you can't be in this community and never hear that name, but I just didn't.
Well,
had no
I've got
idea
a very
what he
soft
spoke
spot
on.
for Santos Bonacci. He's, messages me most days. I feel I'm very lucky to talk to him, and he loves our group. So, what more can you ask? And I'm not saying that everybody likes what he says, but he's just found masses of information and, quite a lot of his adult life, understanding cosmology and astrology and syncretism, and understanding what maybe the Bible's been telling us all along, and what other books are saying. But he's not just that. Maybe people don't realize, but he actually is, a freedom fighter. he's the same thing a bit like Richard. He's not paid things to be taken to court so that he can stand outside with microphones and, you know, there's camera crews there, and he sort of puts his life out as well. He doesn't just come on hangouts and talk about it. He actually is an activist, and many people might not know that Santos Bonacci is an activist, and he tries to tell everybody what's going on. You know, he understands about the maritime law and the birth death certificate and all that. So yeah, many people might not know that he stands outside courts and says things. So he's an activist as well as somebody who's preaching, teaching.
He's got plenty of stuff on YouTube to look at anyway, that's for sure. Mr. Astrotheology.
Yeah, but you know what? Slowly, a lot of people are coming round to his way of thinking. Dre's very similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro's very similar.
Because
Matt,
we all realise it
exactly
must be. We all realise it must be something that we're striving after. You know, it seems to be that if we relate to it, there's a reason behind us relating to it.
I mean, why did we think that if they've lied about everything else, they weren't going to lie about religion? They're going to lie about history. They're going to lie about the wars. They're going to lie to the people and lie about this and lie about the ball and lie about births and deaths. They're lying about everything. It's just terrible. It still just boggles me that
it's all made up.
Yeah.
See, I don't believe that though. I believe the Bible, so
I don't mean it that way. I think the Bible is more of a code book, right? A book that needs to be deciphered better. But what it is that through these other people's work, it's a bit like they started off with religion as the first form of communism. All the people, and if you imagine a few hundred years ago, the churches owned everything, the land, whatever. The people were living on the land, working on the land, going to the church. People have stopped going to church. And they had to find another way of controlling the people, which is subversion and taking this Russian guy over after the Second World War and changing the plan around a little bit and then doing basically the same. They took everything away, maybe from the Russians. They've given us, got to find these ways to control us. And I mean, I think it's a bit of a shock to realise that that's maybe what religion's all about. Because if you understand that a lot of it's wrong and what it really meant, then it's just another indoctrination on the people. And you just think, oh my goodness.
Well, can I just say something? I started looking into religion quite a few years ago when I saw there were coincidences with the various, Muhammad and Jesus and, and it was like, well, this is a bit too strange, So you look into things like that. Santos explains it absolutely beautifully. You couldn't want it any better. And his drawings and his diagrams, his energy is there, and he knows the Bible. He knows the Bible better than anybody. He'll tell you himself. He says it so beautifully.
He's not trying to cut anybody off or say anybody's bad. He's just trying to tell people that what's happened. What's been done to us, what it all means. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be getting into this kind of talk today, and I don't mean to upset Candi because I love Candi, but basically they're just deciphering it all, that the sun outside in the sky is the Son of God, not Jesus. It's fictitious, but I don't want to really get into that because I don't really want to upset too many people. But
I've heard some people say that, and I can't. I'm not going to agree with that.
I don't
want to get into a debate about it, but
it doesn't mean you don't believe in the same thing. It's just that maybe you call it through the Bible. Okay, we'll leave you with that one. But some of us will just say Creator,
but
our essence,
can I just
our
say
frequency, that we're part of God. The people are it with the consciousness. Without that, there is nothing else. Go for it, Astral.
Yeah. Now you've made me forget. No, but can I just say, Candi? No, I've not forgot. This about that you don't believe it and all that lot, but you do, because what's your star sign?
Virgo.
There you go. And I'm Capricorn. What are you, Karen?
I'm a Gemini.
Josh? He's got a question mark.
Richard, what are you?
I'm a Taurus.
And as Santos, I'm not going to explain.
I
about Santos.
personally don't subscribe to that Astral thief.
Okay, maybe we should look at a little bit more at Santos then, because I thought it was a pile of shit and all not too many years ago. But I mean, look into it, man.
Well, no, I'm not
It's
saying that
only
it's a
truth.
pile of shit, and I'm not saying that the stars aren't doing what they're doing. But my point is, those bastards up there don't rule my life in any way. That's my point. Yeah, and as far as the star signs, you guys are all naming off Greek zodiac signs.
Mm.
I doubt any of you have yet to look into the Mazzaroth at all, because the Mazzaroth predates the zodiac by a couple thousand years. So if you really want to go back to the beginning and stuff, check out the Mazzaroth. And the names
It's okay, Josh.
are a little bit
I have
different.
a Vedic love book, which is Indians, you know, with the dots, those Indian people.
Vedic.
And that's completely different. In there, I'm a female snake. and there's female and male in
the
animals.
Zodiac, the signs in the Zodiac came from the Mazzaroth. Like Virgo, the Virgin, kind of a coincidence that Jesus was born of a virgin. The Aleph is drawn like an ox or like a Taurus. A scales, Libra, Gemini. How there's two figures in Gemini. That actually in the Mazzaroth, it's one person with two natures. Which, if you want to have it ring true with scripture, it fits with the whole idea that the first time Christ died, second time he's going to rule. But, I mean, you guys really don't base anything off the Bible, so that really means nothing to you guys. But as far as, dude, the Son being the Son of God, there's no way I could ever say that we're talking about the same thing, because it's not. It's when you're actually warned and told not to do that, I can't say that it's the same, you know, because.
Would you just say one thing though? Because I'm not, you know, obviously all this information's been in, and you know, there's a lot of people now saying the same kind of thing. But this whole thing with what I envisaged God was about, you can directly pray to Source, God, Creator, whichever you want to call it, them. But it wouldn't have wanted us to be controlled like at all. It's not about all the things you've done wrong. And that's what this spiritual awakening may be about now.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that we've come together, especially like Josh, who I've got to know really well, is that we kind of, even though we're not together, we kind of know where we are in this consciousness, like we've connected. It's about us connecting together. It's about us being, I don't know, the best way possible under the circumstances. We live in different countries. You know, Josh, we've had some very deep moments on some of these hangouts because we're on the hangouts together. And it might be a bit difficult. Maybe in the chat room they can feel it as well.
And you know what? We don't have to we don't have to agree to get along. Because thinking back, I was thinking about this while I was listening to you guys while I was in the checkout line right now. If I just disliked everyone that I disagreed with, you know, there's times when I look back at my own life where I wouldn't agree with myself. So am I supposed to not like myself because I disagree with like an older version of me, you know? That doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem right.
I know, so many people are out here hating others because they disagree with something that they have an opinion over. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are or whatever. It's they really do base stuff like that upon things that you believe. Like, oh, you believe the earth is flat? I hate you. Oh, you believe in God? You're a Christian? You're stupid. I hate you. Like, what? You believe in the AE map? I hate you.
I think it's kind of interesting that Christianity now is kind of becoming like the new flat earth, though.
What do you mean?
If you can understand that in any way. Like, before, if someone wanted to say that you're crazy, oh, you're one of those flat earthers, huh? Like, and now that we're in the flat earth community, inside the flat earth community, if they want to say that you're crazy, oh, you're one of those Bible believing Christians.
Yep.
Like, it's just
you're right
kind of
about that.
Weird. Which kind of makes me think that maybe I might be on the right track with this, because, hey, it seems to be on the right track with the world being flat. I mean, they kept saying, oh, you're an idiot if you think the world's flat. Well, you know what? Okay. I'm a very proud idiot then.
Next to.
Well, we've all met each other for that reason, haven't we?
Yeah, well, the thing is they call us idiots. They make complete fools out of us in their eyes and the people around them's eyes. But in our eyes, we're looking at them like, I feel sorry for you. You know, like, but we're not going to stoop to their level because we're past that. So, I mean, who's really, they don't realize that when they're doing that, though.
When you're a bit more sure of yourself or sure of things, you don't actually need to argue, do you? You can have different opinions.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're not all each other either. There's only one Candi, one Astral, one Richard, one Josh, one Yudit, one me. And we've all come in different angles. We're different ages. We're different sexes.
But
you know, everything's going to be...
I just wanted to say, I think it's fine and it's fair that people are, you know, opinionated. For sure, everyone has a right for an opinion, and I respect someone who is against my opinion.
Do you know what I was going to say, but you can't say it anymore? I was going to say that makes the world go round. Oh dear.
Karen, why do you have a new channel? Again. I just realized that this was a different channel.
Because FPV, lovely FPV, coming back with some different work. He's changed it now on Friday. But he was playing some of his work and it had someone's map on it.
Oh, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
No, he striked me.
Oh, wow. You don't even need to say anymore.
If you actually understand when you have to start a new channel off, it is like starting again.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people on the original Sun and Moon, and a lot of people, even I've made a couple of videos, probably just still don't realise that we're channeling. Sorry, streaming.
I mean, even I didn't know. So if I didn't know, and we're close, like, imagine how many people don't know.
Yeah, I've put videos out on a couple of the channels, and every channel, obviously I try and put something in or whatever, but yeah, it's been really like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, well, you know what happens, so it can go any worse, really.
That is unbelievable. Okay, next subject. I'm so sorry for bringing that up. I didn't know it was all that.
Okay, my darling. It's the truth, though, isn't it? I can't deny what happened, but
Man.
you know what I'm talking about. I don't really want to talk about it much, but it's the truth. So, I mean, I feel really sorry for Kat. She's in the chat room right now. Someone sniped her hangout, played something that should have been played, nudity, whatever it was, and then she gets her channel taken down when it wasn't her. And then the person whose channel is responsible. And it doesn't matter that someone came in, sniped, came in and did that. Brings her channel down.
Yeah, that's bad, that is.
And frustrating. But again, you know, I've had to start again. And it's probably because channel that's involving the people and it's just not liked one way or another. Everything's more difficult. Anyway, we go on. And on. And I mean, the actual core of the group, the people who come on are still there. We just have to pick more numbers up, but it's slowly rising again. Please don't anybody do anything, please. It's hard. It's quite hard work running a channel. And now I've got 3 now.
Wow.
But you have to keep going.
Yep.
So,
God.
Josh
I'm so
was saying
sorry
something.
to change the energy. Like God, because even I'm like annoyed now. So like,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just so ridiculous.
I was a bit disappointed to be honest, but there you go. Just got to move on.
Yeah.
So
it's always the good people that get it the worst.
Yeah, but like I said, the actual people who come on the hangouts, or you know, people like Thrive or Mark Sargent, they're all still there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was thinking.
And you just have
like,
to wait until they've taken the ban off.
I was going through my pictures today, and I found a picture. I had taken a picture with him. I didn't even realize that I had a picture. It was me, him, and Nathan Thompson. I didn't even realize I had a picture with Thrive and Survive. Is that who you just said?
Richard, I really like him. He emails me and we talk sometimes, and wow, he could write an email.
Yeah, I talked to him one time on Skype, and that was it. Like, I never talked to him again, and I met him at the conference. But
most people might not realize he's a very sensitive person. He just is. He just knows things, feels things, whatever. And it might not be a side that people know, but yeah, he seems a really nice guy, really sensitive guy.
When is he coming back on the show?
Well, he was on last week, wasn't he? I can't hassle too much. I mean, he does like our group, and the last message he wrote me was really nice. He supports and everything, but you know, I think having him on, it's good to have a few like researchers or ideas. So I would like Owen to come on, but he's in Australia. He's like 10 hours ahead, and he'd have to get up really early. And I'd like failure, but I could actually show the video of that. I may as well give him the link. So I'll probably get in touch with him end of this week, next week, and ask him to come back.
He's in Australia.
Already.
No, Thrive's in Arizona.
Right, okay.
There's your chick.
I mean, you know, I'm just really grateful that all these people are supporting the group and what the group's, you know, that's all of us. That's from Candi to Matt Jerome to the Maps to Stan to Richard here to Josh, Yudit. It's supporting everyone who comes on this group, and
there's it. Have yourself a good day, man.
Josh, you're so rude.
Josh, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Joshua!
I realized that. I knew that the whole time. It was just that, yeah, my phone was in my pocket. And I had my Bluetooth headphones on. Hey, give me a break. I'm trying to multitask here. And I think I'm doing a damn good job.
Oh, he's lovely, Josh.
Yeah, no, it wasn't quick enough to get back on the Hangout and mute myself before the dude answered the door.
It's okay. We'll let you off. Don't you worry.
Well, I try to keep myself muted so that you guys aren't hearing everything going around me. And then all of a sudden you guys will ask me a question. And then it's like a race and a fumble for my phone.
No, we weren't asking you a question. We were telling you to shut up.
Yeah, no, not this time. That's why I kept my mic open this time.
Oh, okay. I got it. Sorry. I was reading something.
Hey, so we actually had a meetup out here yesterday in Santa Monica.
How did that go?
Pretty good. I got to meet up with a bunch of the I think everybody at the meetup yesterday was actually at the one that we had in Pasadena with Mark.
Wait, I got a question. So, like, I know that you're in California, obviously. But, like, California is, like, the size of the whole east coast of the United States. So, like, where are you compared to Sacramento?
Oh, you're talking about kids of Michelle?
Yeah.
She's, like, in the middle of the state, and I'm near Mexico.
Oh, you're on the bottom.
So
like,
yeah,
what cities are, like, known that are, like, northern? Where's San Francisco? That's by Sacramento?
San Francisco is above Sacramento, I believe.
Where's San Diego?
That's
San
south.
Diego is below me.
Oh, okay.
And
that's all. I was just wondering.
what other popular freaking cities are in California?
I mean, there's Los Angeles. I mean, hello.
Well, yeah, there's like Los Angeles, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, but I mean, hell, those are all pretty much the same place. Like, they're all within a couple miles of each other. Yeah, they're different cities, but you can be in Hollywood to LA to Beverly Hills within half an hour. If there's no traffic. If there's traffic, you'll be there in like a day and a half.
That's a long time.
Yeah, no, not really a day and a half.
How far away are you from each other then?
Who, me and Candi?
Josh?
We're a country apart.
Yeah, we're 2 days away from each other. Like, if it was to drive, because I have a friend in
probably
Washington
about the
State.
same level though.
Yeah.
I bet I could almost probably draw like almost a straight line across the country from like LA to South Carolina.
I have a friend in Washington State, and so I was trying to see how long it would take me to get there, and it's 2,700 miles from me to him, so it would be about the same from me to Josh. That is a long way, isn't it?
It's hard for us to imagine, really. It takes me.
Y'all
It would take
countries
about,
are so. Yeah,
probably
they're
a couple
so
of
close
hours to
together.
get to Richards, and I'd feel that was enough. Because I met Richard at
Yeah.
Leicester, so he's not that far from Leicester. It took about an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah, and
I mean,
you guys
that's
can go to another country in 2 hours.
Is that why most people fly?
Absolutely. Because it would take just, I don't know, probably 6 hours or so on a flight, maybe.
I remember.
Yeah,
God.
My brother's actually flying in from Idaho on Tuesday.
Idaho.
I remember that from school.
Hey, Richard, are you from Leicester?
But his flight's only gonna take like 3 hours, 4, like not even 3-4 hours. Where if he was to drive, it takes like 18 hours, almost like a full day.
Yeah, it's hard for us to imagine, really. Although, actually, it's quite a few miles to the top of Scotland. It would take you about 6 or 7 hours to get up there to the top. Well, wherever it is, it's positioned on this flat plane. But
like, just think about how far you'd be able to travel if you started driving in like Europe for a full day, right? Like, how many countries would you cross?
yeah, you probably do a few there. And then you'd probably come to the Mediterranean Sea.
Then you can go swimming and grab a falafel.
Richard, are you you live near Leicester, don't you?
About an hour away.
Because where did you come from then, Astral?
His mother.
Ha
My mother. From Manchester.
Manchester. If I didn't explain Richard, he comes from Manchester. He lives in Denmark now.
Yeah, I live in Denmark. But I asked Richard because I thought you said you went to Leicester to meet Richard, and presuming it was this Richard, and that's why, because I lived in Leicester once. I have family there.
When you were a UKer.
Yeah, back in the days when I was in the UK, when I was nothing but knee-high. What's the saying go like? FPV will do 100,000 times better than I will ever. Something about being knee-high to a grasshopper. Sorry, I diverge. Were you speaking, Richard? I'm finished.
No, that's so cool.
I wonder how many UKs would fit into America. Does anybody know?
Oh my god, I don't know.
What did you say? How much of the UK fits in America?
How many of UKs, I mean, I suppose the whole of it, would fit into America?
Like the area.
We're a little tiny island compared to you.
Yeah, I don't even know the area of the United States.
So you're still working?
Sucked at geography.
Are you working, Candi?
and even if they did tell me, I would doubt it.
Candi and Uber are always working when we have hangouts.
Well, that's because it's nighttime where you are, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon over here.
It's 7 here.
So you're not working anymore, Candi?
No, I'm home.
Yay!
It's 3 time zones away from Josh is 3 time zones away from me. If that gives you some perspective.
This time of the year, is it still quite warm for you?
During the day, yeah, it was 60 out yesterday. It was kind of chilly today, though. Let me see. I'll tell you.
It was 85 degrees over here the other day.
Is that all year round, Josh?
Oh, it's 60 degrees outside right now. It's 61.
Yeah, California only has 2 seasons. We have summer and rain.
We had -3 the other day.
Wow. Wait,
we just seem to have one season. It's called cloudy. Chemtrails and clouds. It is quite. It's not that warm here anymore.
Plutonium with a shot of lithium.
It's getting dark about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now.
I hate
Whereas
it.
in the summer,
in
the summer it gets dark.
Stupidest thing in the world.
10:30, 11, 11:30 at night. It gets dark. Then we get masses of light in the summer. When you get a few hours of dark in the summer, and in the winter we get masses of dark. The other way round for winter. Is it the same for you? Do you get, like, in a lot of countries, especially big countries, the difference between summer and winter is only a couple of hours, whereas for me it's hours.
I wonder.
Holy crap!
I wonder if that. I don't know. Never mind. Because you know, daylight savings is. I don't know. It's so stupid. It makes the daytime shorter and the nighttime longer for some reason, and it's like dumb because then you switch back. Like it's just so stupid.
I put a video out on one of the channels about that the daylight savings were never meant for us. They were meant so that we could keep shopping for longer.
Yeah,
and,
well, no, I think that
it's so they
like
can keep their 12-month year. It's so they can keep the 12-month year and keep the 13th month year obsolete. Which, funny thing, Karen, Matt's even talked about that.
Yeah.
In
what it does
regards
is,
to the shape of the Earth and stuff like that, when he broke down into the triangles that the circle makes and everything, yeah, and he made a point to say that there's 13 pieces or 13 points, and I think that's for the 13 months, you know.
Yeah, it almost feels like you know, there was an extra month somewhere along the line. That's because of there's 13 moons. That's why a year, and a lot of people don't realise that.
13.
Yeah, and
yeah, if you start calculating the time and then also like the leap years and stuff like that.
And it's so stupid, February with so many less days. What the hell?
That's so they can make it up and have the
though.
leap year, though, isn't it? This is so they can have the leap year.
Well, yeah. So if we went by 28-day cycles, the way that the moon goes, and we had our month set for 28 days instead of 30 to 31. Think about that. That's what, 2 times 12, and sometimes 3 times 12. Like that's 24 days right there that they chopped out. That's almost a full month right there, just by them shortening each month throughout the year by a day or two.
Which they didn't need to.
Exactly. And that's why they need daylight savings time to keep that whole little shenanigans going.
Yeah, which I've got out is basically saying that basically there's like, say there's if you put into this system of time savings and that, it just seems that at any time anybody can change it. 2 countries next to each other have different time zones and they're right next to each other, and then one country decided to change things so quickly they couldn't change the computers, and for a while their computers were a whole hour out for a whole month. And it's like, time savings sort of show you that we're not a globe, because there's too many countries running on different times. They can lose days. Then they decided to change times and days and Christmases and when the year started, and then you've got the things, and then there's a like a second. Some of them are seconds out on their computers because of times. And by the time this guy finished, he just said, just take no notice of this and just go back to the old ways with what the people knew then, because that's the best way forward. Because it's all just an absolute nightmare, the time savings. Absolute nightmare for everywhere. So we're not all on the same time zone and history and stuff. We're just not all together here.
That's probably on purpose, so that when you go to try to figure it out in your head while you're thinking about things, it doesn't make any sense, you know, and you just kind of give up on it.
But in a sense, we are always together, aren't we, at the same time? Because even though it's a different time, Candi, well, the chat room, Astral, Richard, Josh, Yudit, I mean, we're all together right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, isn't it?
China only has one time zone.
Yeah, we're all together at the same time, but we're all not together at the same time.
Oh, and I've got to go to sleep.
Yeah, Denmark is an hour ahead of us, so it's 1:20.
Oh, got to get up at 5.
Oh, that's not nice.
No. I need a shower and everything first. So I've got to go, guys. But it's
great
been
that
nice
you've joined us because we haven't seen you much lately. Because you said
I've been listening all the time. I've been listening all the time, but just busy.
I do appreciate that because you put many comments on the posts. So I appreciate that, Astral.
Yeah, I would watch. Thanks for letting me come on.
It's an absolute pleasure, my darling. Big flat earth hugs for you, Astral.
Cheers, guys. Hugs
See
back.
you soon.
Bye.
Big flat earth hug.
Bye, guys. And cheers.
Bye.
Bye to everyone.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
Astral.
Yeah, a few people couldn't get on today. Richard had to go to his friend's house so he could get online. Actually, Richard, you're growing a beard. He's a little bit... Not really.
Just lazy.
I think so. You look a bit different. I had to work out what it was. You've got a bit of a beard.
My hair's a bit long as well.
Yeah, you could be called the beard guy now. So, Candi, what are you doing the rest of today then?
Oh, I don't know. I might go watch. My son wants to see Wonder. I might go watch that with him.
It is good to hear that you're so much better now. You sound so much better and happier. And
yeah, me and Karen went to the movies Saturday night and we don't watch TV. We don't go, out to the movies or anything like that anymore, And it's like neither one of us knew what to see, what was even playing or anything. So like we get there and we were like still undecided of what we were gonna see because we kind of knew what was playing by looking online, and we got there and I was like, well, what's that right there? And she's like, oh, that's Denzel's new movie. So right before we told her we were going to see whatever that Johnny Depp movie is, I don't even know the names of them, and I had to ask like 6 times, what's the name of this movie again? So I was like, oh, Denzel got a new movie, I want to see that. So we went and watched that. It was the most boring movie. It was like 2 hours long. It was so boring. I fell asleep like 4 times.
you think that's partly because you can't look at anything the same anymore?
I don't know, but it was, what was crazy? Whenever the previews were on, okay, so nobody in my family wants to ever watch, like when I still was watching things, and sometimes I do watch movies like just for the subliminal things, but nobody likes to watch TV with me. Well, I don't watch TV shows, but like movies and stuff, they won't watch anything with me anymore because I'm constantly like, look at that, see what they just did there, like I point out everything and they're like, oh my god, can you be normal for once, please? So nobody likes to watch anything with me. But when me and Karen were in the movie theater and like the previews were playing for the upcoming movie, we kept picking out everything that we saw, and like both of us would say it at the same time. It was funny.
I have to say that even though I knew the truth about it last year, this time about Christmas, I just don't have any enthusiasm for Christmas.
I just said that to my mom today. Oh my god, that's crazy.
She's something I used to like.
Yeah, me too. And she's out there putting up her My mother ordered me a Christmas tree. I have 2 Christmas trees in my attic. I don't want to put up a Christmas tree. But the only reason I'm putting it up is because I have my Christmas tree is all New Orleans Saint stuff. I have I'll show you when I put it up. But I'm gonna put it up like the 1st or 2nd week in December. I'm gonna put it up just because my mom ordered me a Christmas tree. So, but I have all my stuff up in the attic. I don't even feel like getting it down. So my mom's like putting all that. She got so many decorations, and it's like my sister's house. Like her decorations like go with the music. She's got it connected to an amp and stuff, and it's just like, come on, what's wrong with you people? And my mom was like, you used to like Christmas. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah, but like since maybe June or July of this year, I feel different, so different about everything. Like it's a waste of my time to even get stressed out about Christmas.
Do you know what? Up the road from me, there's a garden centre. And in the garden, like by the gates, there's this enormous, great blown up Father Christmas. And I just think, oh, you know, like,
Yeah.
as a child, you thought that you couldn't wait for Father Christmas to come, but now you understand what it's about. It's like there's a dirty, great big red Father Christmas.
Yeah, and it's like I feel so bad that I lied to my kids about that stuff when they were younger, you know? Because I always tell them that I'm honest with them about everything. My kids know everything. I don't keep anything from them. And I feel like that's why they're close to me. That's why they know that they can trust me. That's why they know they can talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm honest with them about everything. So I feel like shit that I lied to them for 8 to 10 years of their lives. Not just about Santa Claus, but the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, you know, all that stuff.
I know. I just can't believe how intricately this is being done. You know, like Dre was just explaining on the maritime law, what it all means, the game, the words that you need to use to get out of things, and the truth, and it's just so intricate, even about Father Christmas, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep repeating this because obviously, you know, in our research group, artists, like the research he's found out, and it all comes together that basically after they annihilated, not America didn't get annihilated, but Europe got quite annihilated with the First and Second World War, you know, infrastructure wise, one way or another, whether you were the goodies or the baddies. But after that, the 50s, 60s, they turned us into this globe in the 60s. That's when time savings came in. It's just when NASA came in, oil, it's everything. Before the First and Second World War, we were in electric cars, free energy cars, and these things could go for hours, and they could go, some of them could go quite fast, like 120 miles an hour. And all that gone into petrol cars and the globe and space and ball, and it all happened in the 60s. So it's not even that long ago. And yet, look how, if you actually say outside to someone, like you shouted, flat earth, they look at you as if you need to go to prison or something, or a loony bin.
Yeah. You can tell them that you think anything else. You're an activist in the worst thing in the world. Like, you tell them that you just got done sucking Satan's toes and they'll be okay with it. But like, if you tell them the earth is flat, you belong in a mental hospital. Something's wrong with your head. You're an idiot. You're stupid. What's wrong with you? Did you even pay attention in school? Why do you hate science? That's my biggest pet peeve right there. We don't hate science. We actually appreciate science. You guys believe in pseudoscience. That's not science. Science is meant to be challenged. That's like the whole point of it. And for us to accept something that was supposedly proven in the 1800s and never challenge it again is absurd. And for anybody to accept that is even more absurd. Like, why would you think that that would be okay? I don't understand that. And it sucks that we've gone our whole lives thinking that. But now that I know, when I see things, like it's so frustrating to me now when people won't listen, because I mean, I tell them I
won't listen. They don't even want to just like you say, look, just watch this one video before you say no. I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand how you can accept something that was supposedly proven a century ago. Like, I mean, hello, okay, so technology changes every single day. Something new is coming out, more advanced, more. So you're just going to accept something that was tested one time in the 1800s? Oh, and how about gravity? That too, because that experiment has never been duplicated or done again. So,
they only needed
gravity for the ball,
Candi. They needed gravity for the ball. And there's just as many experiments that were being done which proved that we were a flat plane. But those are sort of, they're there, but they're pushed so far over there. Yeah, it's just, I mean, we're not on some merry-go-round moving. We're not. It's obvious. And there's no curvature.
No, that's funny that you say that. They teach us about the merry-go-round throwing us off in school. You watch a stupid little video, and then nobody puts two and two together. Like, why does two and two equal five all of a sudden? Because they're telling us that this gravity is holding us onto a spinning ball at astronomical speed. That's just a stupid merry-go-round, and you're flying off the edge.
So when you actually understand it, it seems so stupid that they're telling you that gravity keeps the oceans to the ball, yet a butterfly can fly and a whale can jump out of the water. And actually, if I actually fill this tea towel full of water and start flinging it around, the water comes off.
Yeah. But it's like science contradicts itself in science class.
The gravity should then keep that water in the towel. Fixed to the ball. It's definitely going to keep the water in the tea towel.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if gravity was working, wouldn't our heads want to meet the ground? Because everything would want to be like a magnet onto the ground.
Yeah, it says
the trees wouldn't be up. The trees would all be bending down to the ground.
Yeah, well, and it's supposed to be a constant, and it's supposed a constant. It stays the same. It's a changing constant. I mean, like it changes with the mass of the object. Well, obviously that's the weight of the object, and why should there? I don't understand why they can't just agree that gravity is the weight of the object weighing it down, not gravity. Like, what the hell? Well, you have to have gravity to have weight. Well, why? Because they're the same thing.
Definitely true. When you have just a little bit of common sense. But, we were all caught in that system, and I didn't view it like that, because everywhere you go, there are balls, globes everywhere in the films. Everybody puts a globe up, and then, but when you think about it, when you actually think about it, it's just all ridiculous. Stupid. But then, like I said, it's a real shame that more people aren't waking up.
Yeah.
What's the most frustrating thing for you then, Richard? What's the most frustrating thing for you being a flat earther when you know and most of the people around you don't know?
Just that no one's, well, not no one, but most of the people don't even want to look at the information. And then when you show them the information, like the other day, one of my friends tagged me in a picture saying that they saw curvature, and then it was like a picture from a satellite sort of thing. And yeah, the curve with the Earth, it was showing, oh yeah, there's a curve on the Earth, and then they tagged me in the picture, and then I went on YouTube and I found the video that the picture was taken off. Underneath, it says, well, this is the video from the picture that you've just said you've seen curve on, and the curve goes the opposite way. It starts that way in the video, and then as the satellite or whatever's moving around, the curve goes the opposite way. And I said, well, if that don't prove it to you, then I don't know what else to suggest. Like, I know you're on the right sort of track, but you're just relying mainly on what you've been taught when you were a kid.
Do you still try to get people to understand, or you just like go with the flow, and if they do, they do, they don't, because you can't make someone. The few times I've tried with other people out in the street or something, they just, no way. It's just absolutely no way.
I've been thinking about what's in the streets. I've found I bought a megaphone off my mate, so I might end up doing something in the streets very soon.
Really?
Yeah. Getting a big board and then just putting like different sections on, like some about like birth certificate stuff, some about flat earth, some about Holocaust and World War II, and just sit in the street just with a thing behind me and just let people come up and ask me stuff.
Hmm.
And I can have like little QR codes with links to people's YouTube videos. I can be like, well, scan that QR code and then we'll go and watch that video and then come back to me. See how that goes.
Do you think you'll do it then?
I might do it one day, yeah. It's an idea. Got a few things that I'm fiddling about with at the minute. I've opened my business, so I'm thinking about that at the minute. It's coming up to Christmas, so I should be able to make a few sales or whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to do it for the benefit of people as well as me trying to make a bit of money and not be working for a big corporation, just basically paying one person millions of pounds.
Thanks, Richard. Candi, what's your most frustrating part about being a flat earther?
I think basically what he said too, people just not wanting to. Condemnation before investigation is the height of ignorance. It's what I've been using so often. And I have been a lot more patient with people. Like I've noticed like the more friendly and calm you present this to people, the more they're likely to listen. You know, like but when people just won't listen at all and they think you're crazy, that's annoying. Because it really only just takes some common sense. But if you never look at it, you won't even, that's back to what I said, like you're just accepting something that was given to you by somebody else. Like don't you want to find out things on your own? You're okay with being told what is what, and you're never going to question it, and it's like it's wrong. You're telling me I'm wrong for questioning it? I don't, that's annoying.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, you know, with your family, if they sort of trust you on so many levels, and then when you say it's flat, they don't trust you on that one.
Well, no,
I always find that really weird.
No, my family, they don't, no conspiracies, no, they don't even understand why I didn't vote for Trump. Like, why didn't you vote? Why don't you vote? Why do you think politics are, I'm like, you guys, I really hope you wake up one day, but they don't even want to hear it. They think I belong in a nut house. They're so brainwashed. My mom watches Jerry Springer every day. That's the kind of family I have.
Well, I probably did quite like all those things, but now I've realised that watching it, all you're watching is heartache, upset, drama, betrayal, crying, affairs, and that's all you're watching, really. Arguing, people.
I went to my mom's house today, and they were watching TV. I had to go sit in the kitchen. There was another damn TV on in the kitchen. I had to shut it off. I'm like, I can't believe you people are watching this. Like, what is wrong with you? I was so aggravated. I just wanted to go home.
Yeah, I have to say that I don't watch television really anymore. I did put it on today because I was ironing, but it goes in one. I think I was on the phone most of the time, so I didn't watch the telly anyway. But I just don't.
You were watching like Maury Povich or whatever, and his eyes, I don't know, they got annoyed with me because all I kept saying is, oh my God, look at his pupils. Why are his pupils like that? They're not even round. They look like they were slanted. And so I kept talking about his pupils, and I was like, I just can't even do this. Like, I can't even watch this. I went in another room.
Toxicode says in the chat room, no TV for me. It's much better when you turn the television off. They're doing something through the television as well. They've got to be, because, well, nothing's true on there. The news is a lie. It's all about drama. Every other advert's got cancer or something horrible on it. It's just, you feel much better. Do you watch any telly, Richard?
I watch
Not anymore.
three
I only
shows. That's it.
only like funny cartoons, Family Guy and American Dad. And you start to see stuff in Family Guy and American Dad that, yeah, they basically they were like 1 week. It were about a month after I started looking at Flat Earth, and then I started just watching Family Guy at night, which I normally do anyway. And I started noticing like there were like a week or 2 week span where they kept repeating the same episodes, but all the episodes had some sort of like correlation with Flat Earth. Like it were a medieval, one of the a medieval episode where Peter like becomes a knight and is fighting this Black Knight or whatever, and they were like there's like a drill sergeant at the beginning, like it's like a training thing. You go in and you become a knight for a day or whatever, and it's like the idea. The idea of a geocentric universe gets you excited, doesn't it? And it's like, yes, sir. I just noticed that. And I don't know. I'd left the TV on and came up, and yeah, the new logo and everything. If you go and watch, Karen, if you can find it, new episodes of You've Been Framed. There's literally it's just a flat Earth with a thing like a dome going over with the sun and the moon and everything. And like the earth, like green, and then like brown dirt underneath. Just, like some things on telly, they know, they do know, and they're just basically hiding it in plain sight.
Well, again, I hardly, like I say, watch television because I don't. But I turned the television on the other week, and just there was Coronation Street, and almost immediately. One of the people, Coronation Street, Candi, is a really big soap opera here in England. He suddenly went, well, you'll be saying that the Earth isn't flat.
Huh.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I shared that on my Facebook page.
Yeah, like this is a really big soap opera, and that was mentioned on there. But I bet you loads of people didn't hear it because that's what we're in. Is well, we just don't. I put this is just talking about subversion and stuff like that. It's from Richard D. Hall, who unfortunately is not a flat earther, but he likes looking into all the controversy and stuff like that. And he picked up this politician who was running to be Ed Miliband, who was running to be for Prime Minister of the UK. Not the last time, the time before. And he's being interviewed for something. And this newspaper reporter asked him 5 separate questions. And all he did was say exactly the same thing, but changing it around a bit. So he showed you on this video, he used the same words 5 times. The reporter had not noticed that he'd used the same words 5 times. And then it's a bit like he says, well, who's the puppet? Do you want a man like that ruling the country? He's the puppet, like who's ruling him? And yeah, obviously this man didn't become Prime Minister, but it's just like, how many people would have listened to that interview, not noticed that he repeated the same things 5 times? He just changed some of the words around. So he'll start off on parents, 1 sentence, schools the next. It was about teacher strikes. And he just switched the sentences around and said exactly the same thing. So the answer was like, none of these people are leaders, they're puppets. So just take me to your leader. I want to know who the leader is. And you just think, how many people would have watched that and not notice him say it? So we obviously are not really listening to what they're saying. But they must say enough trigger words that we do hear. And that's what's happening in the television. I think there must be these trigger words that even if you're not hearing it subconsciously going in, I don't know. Anyway, so it's better really not to watch the television. But
like flat Earth, it's like they were taught, we're taught in school to laugh at that.
Well, artists found
learning about the Flat Earth Society in school.
Artists found the guy, I can't remember his name right now, and he died about 2001, but he actually was a flat earther. Him and his wife still had classes, magazines, all sorts of things. And then in the 80s, I think it was, his premises got burnt down with everything in, and he had to start all over again, and it was never the same after that. But he went on a television show, say it looked like the 70s, somewhere like 1977, something like that. And he was saying, yeah, of course we're a flat plane. and they were really laughing. The way that they did the heckling, ha 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 ha! They were laughing and calling him an idiot. It was probably all taped laughing, you know, to make him look an absolute idiot. You know, the fake claps and all that kind of stuff. But they were really laughing at him, heckling him, and you're crazy. That's all you could hear from the people. But I mean, in a sense, it'd be nice if we had Aaron's Flat Earth TV, wouldn't it? I'd really like that, but anything that's worth watching never even makes it to the television anyway.
Yeah, I watch shows like Stranger Things. I just got done with season 2. Stuff like that. Stuff with a lot of subliminal stuff in it. Like, of course, I had to see Moana. I watched Geostorm.
I just think it's obvious with the way they've set it up with all the soap operas. It's not like everybody's getting on. All the horrible things happen. I know horrible things happen to people in real life, but you're just watching it all happen. Nobody seems to get on. Someone's got to have an affair. No one respects each other. I'm not saying occasionally I don't like watching it, because you can get lost in there and not worry about your own life. But really, all you're watching is people arguing and fighting, and they don't care. And then comes the news, and that's pretty depressing. I think there should be 2 sets of news. They could put all the horrible stuff on one news, and then they could have another news about maybe some of the positive things that might be happening around the place we live. Yeah, everybody's muted now. We've kind of been going...
I'm sorry, my daughter was talking to me. Hang on, I'll be right back.
It's okay. We've kind of been going for 3 hours. Yeah, it's nearly getting on for 1 o'clock in the morning here. I don't know how long Richard wants to stay on. I don't know if Yudit's there. Yudit's 2 hours ahead of us, and she might have gone to sleep. But Yudit will be watching this all again tomorrow. I'm not sure if she's there.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Well, we can talk for a little bit longer, maybe another 15 minutes or something, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, okay,
And
just
then
give me like 2 seconds, because my daughter's talking to me about something. I'll be right back.
Cool. Everybody then knows that we're going in about 15 minutes. Because I think Suzette Ann has just joined the hangout. Well, we've sort of talked about lots of different things today. What's the best thing about being a flat earther for you, Richard, then?
Sorry?
What's the best thing about being a flat earther?
Just the freedom of mind. Like even now I've got to work in the system that's corrupt, and like paying taxes and basically funding what they're doing. It annoys me, but I've got the freedom of mind, and now I'm starting to look at things where you can become tax exempt and not pay into the system and not pay council tax. So yeah, I enjoy that. It also leads to other things as well. There's lots of other things that I've been looking at since I've become a flat earther.
I think a lot of people are sensitive enough. I was talking about this earlier on with Dojo, and he probably would have always had an inquisitive mind and looked things up. But I'm not sure I would have learned as much as I have if this whole thing hadn't happened when you realise it's a lie. I've had to change my mind about a lot of things, obviously, that I believed in that just aren't real. You know, understanding what's kind of going on here, just this game. I don't know how they stand out when they're having these meetings and these politicians. It's a bit like, why are they bothering? Why not just do what they're going to do? Because they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Just do it then. Do it. Why they have to, I suppose the thing is that if they keep everybody on fear level, if they've got your fear level, then they're always keeping you tagged along one way or another. Candi, you there? All the panels muted and they've left me all on my own. So Richard, what are you going to be looking into next then, or is it just a continuation of trying to sort this other stuff out you were talking about earlier on then?
My goal is to be able to learn and become fluent in Japanese so that I don't need to have subtitles when I'm watching anime.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta go. I gotta check them. These kids got projects due and stuff. And it's
Candi, big flat earth hugs, and thank you very much for coming on today. I mean, we're kind of winding down anyway now.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
It's 8 o'clock here.
Lots of love and hugs.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, Dylan. And then there was 3, and there isn't really 3 because I think Yudit's gone to sleep.
Oh.
Well, as I say, we've been going now for 3 hours. It's probably about time we can end the hangout, really. But thank you so much to everybody in the chat room for listening. I'll just repeat that tomorrow it looks like we've got Iron Realm Media coming on, or somebody from Iron Realm Media. Then we've got Ty from Revival Magazine. And we've got Alan, Weedy the Doc.
Yeah.
Who's into free energy. So maybe Richard will be back tomorrow because we've all met Weedy, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
We have. He's a really nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very nice. Yeah.
Well, I've met you a few times. Then on Wednesday, obviously, the day off. Then on Thursday, we've got Patricia Steer. And then on Friday, FPV's coming to show his model again. And Mark Sargent is coming on for that. And whoever else joins us on that panel. I'm still tired from my long hangout with Bro Sanchez. I just didn't get any sleep Saturday night. And then I felt quite ill going to sleep yesterday, like morning about 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I did sleep a few hours, and then I just felt quite ill the rest of the day, just because I'd completely not had any sleep. But what an amazing hangout. 10 hours. I was just like, it did go quite quickly. I know that's amazing to sound, but it did actually go quite quickly. Do you think you might be back tomorrow, Richard?
Yeah, hopefully. If I finish work in time, I can get back, yeah. I'd like to talk talent for a bit.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Alan will just say a few things and, you know, about free energy and what he's seen, and then Ty and Revival Magazine like it. We help each other, don't we? And yeah, Alan's amazing anyway with what he's the scalar waves, Earth's heartbeat. Yeah, and also that he's trying to get free energy going. He's using a bicycle at the moment, a bicycle that's got a little motor on it. But he was using crystals, but he found that there's a little bit of a problem, especially if you're using them and doing it inside your house. Loads of other avenues to make free energy. So, yeah. Anyway, big flat earth hugs to you, Richard, my darling. And Yudit, and to everybody in the chat room. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow about 9 o'clock UK time. And thanks for being there and here. And yeah, lovely Richard. See you tomorrow. Bye everybody. Bye everybody.